Chapter 868. On a whim, this giant statue of justice is really hard. Yunshi moved his wrist for a while, and it was not too difficult for him to blow the giant statue of justice away. After all, he had fought with Zaka sisters who really had the power of dragons. This fight is just a piece of cake for him. The hard body's power can be used to fight the giant dragon. The reason why he couldn't be invincible in the world of the Dragon War is that he faced two strong opponents. In actual combat, the hard body is powerful enough to make the hero-ranked enemies despair. Even red stone can't withstand such a blow. Now, can you calm down? Holding the little girl who ran to his side again, Yunshi walked to the big pit and looked at Red Stone who was tottering up. Justice needs strength to support. Without enough strength, it is nothing. What kind of giant are you? Red Stone tore off his broken metal shackles. Even in the battle with Xiao Cao, he was never beaten so badly. He had even no chance to free the shackles and fight with all his strength. Half of his body was basically destroyed, and ordinary human beings would have died long ago. The hard body's fist damaged not only his shoulders and muscles, but also his nerves and internal organs. I don't have the blood of any giant, it's hard body. Yunshi looked at Red Stone, who had rashly attacked him, and hoped that he would exercise his justice after more consideration, otherwise, he would die here sooner or later. At this time, Yunshi still didn't realize the persistence of the Red Steel genre's strong men and their ways of thinking. Sure enough. I believe you. The owner of the hard body, you are a friend of the Red Steel genre. Although he was dying, Red Stone still laughed while vomiting blood. You are going to die. Yunshi was sure of the power of his fist. His punch was enough to kill any ordinary person. However, the body structure of the Red Steel genre's strong men is completely different from that of a human, so Red Stone can withstand Yunshi's punch. Next time, let's fight again. What's your name? Red Stone, who found that he was still bleeding, looked curiously at Yunshi in front of him. What kind of person is this? If you only look at his body size, he will not believe that such a person can cultivate the hard body. Is it a natural gift? That's too enviable. This is the ultimate fantasy of all the disciples of the Red Steel genre. In order to obtain this talent, the fighters of the Red Steel genre can do whatever it takes. 1,000 days of hard work under the waterfall. Running in the sunset with huge tires. Do not eat or drink on the ice and snow plateau. In order to cultivate the hard body, these lethal cultivation methods are common to the Red Steel genre's fighters. The Red Steel genre would have been destroyed if it had not been for the Vitality State skill to save their lives. Yunshi, have a good rest, her parents are here. They already saw the little girl's parents who were looking at them with a worried look. Ho ho, it's really a good fight. Yunshi, I remember your name, and you will be our friend of the Red Steel genre. Red Stone smiled at Yunshi's back. His feet were close together, his body stood like a marble statue, his hands were raised, and then he fall into a state of complete silence. His whole person had really become a giant statue emitting justice, motionless, just like an artist's masterpiece, and every muscle in his body had a granite-like color. It is the unique skill of the Red Steel genre, Vitality State. In the following days, this giant statue of justice became the landscape of the square, climbed up and down by many curious children, and became the copy object of many art students. It's hard to find such a vivid giant statue. Thank you so much. We lost our way here and almost collapse. In fact, we've been here before, but now it's changed so much that we can't recognize it. The little girl's parents held Yunshi's hand tightly and were about to cry. Big brother is very kind to me, thank you for your bread. It could be seen that the little girl's family had a good tutor, and it seemed that they were nobles from the Western God's domain. Yunshi wasn't surprised that they would get lost in this city. In Yunshi's memory, this city has changed a lot compared to the time when he first arrived here. Except for the Sword Palace, the whole Sword Palace area attracted aristocratic families and nobles from various Gold's domains because of the news that the White Lotus secret treasure would appear. The noble families almost bought all the land near the White Lotus Sword Palace, and then began to build. The later powers, except a few superpowers, bought the real estate at unimaginable prices, and others could only buy the real estate development in a slightly distant area. Up till now, even the outermost territory of the sword tip area near the edge of the defense magic array had risen to more than 100 times the original price, so the supply still exceeds the demand. The development and transaction of real estate in the White Lotus Sword Palace region have become the hottest economic growth point in the entire White Lotus Sword domain. Take the shop run by the Knights and Magic team as an example. In just 1 month, the price has risen to 1,000 times that of its original price when they bought it. The dessert shop where Yoon Shi first dated the Golden Crow Princess has become a building with more than 10 floors. The painting style around the White Lotus Sword Palace has changed dramatically. The castles of the Western Gods domain. Taoism halls from many different sword domains. Even Buddhist temples and churches have sprung up, and there is even a growing trend. The news that the White Lotus secret treasure is about to appear is like a stone thrown into the water. The ripples aroused by it rippled to most of the Endless Gods domains. After seeing off the family, Yoon Shi suddenly had a whim. Buddhism. For the first time, Yoon Shi, who was cultivating the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll, had the idea of going to a Buddhist temple to look. Chapter 869. Buddhist scripture. Buddhist temples are easy to find. After all, they are one of the biggest forces in the East Gods domain. Be merciful. Who will go to hell if I don't, is one of the teachings of Buddhism. In order to save all living beings, Buddhist cultivators have always spared no pains. They can be found in any corner of the Endless Gods domains. The morning bell and the evening drum, together with the clean and solemn temples, can you tell where these great cultivators are just by asking anyone? For High Temple? Yoon Shi looked up at this medium-sized temple. The name sounds great. The sea of suffering is boundless, why don't you turn around? On the door of the temple, Yoon Shi saw the Buddhist's warning words. Well, I have a good impression. Yoon Shi walked into the temple. A few novice cultivators were sweeping the floor, sweeping the fallen leaves into the dustpan. Seeing Yoon Shi, they showed their curious eyes. It can be seen that they are not residents of White Lotus Sword domain, but Buddhist children from other gods' domains. They have not officially become Buddhist cultivators, and they still have hair. This is proof that they have not been disciplined. Amitabha, benefactor, you are predestined by our Buddha. Before Yoon Shi entered the hall, a monk with a white beard came out on his own initiative and looked at Yoon Shi with incomparably kind eyes, as if he had seen his own child. That master. I just came to have a look. Yoon Shi looked at the old monk in front of him in some confusion. It seems that the first time he met the Buddha's Maha mystery on the starry sky chessboard, he heard the same words. Come and see. It's fate. Benefactor, I see that you have great wisdom and perseverance between your eyes and eyebrows. You are a good seedling of our Buddhist scriptures. The old monk looked at Yoon Shi and smiled. This was absolutely true. Beauty symbolized order and truth. It was the most favored of the world rules. If people like Yoon Shi entered Buddhism, they would definitely be good seedlings of cultivation. If you used Taoism as an example, the situation would stay the same. No school would ever let such a disciple go. Really? Yoon Shi, who recently cultivated the Paranimita Vasavatin scroll and felt good, muttered, Am I really connected with Buddhism? Thunderbolt. Pala. It was clearly daytime. The sky above the Fahai temple had suddenly darkened. It seemed that something was brewing. Master, I have a problem. Yoon Shi could be said to know next to nothing about Buddhism. After all, bakery owners wouldn't need the skill of chanting sutras and eating vegetarian food. Amitabha, please come into the hall, benefactor. Today is a good day to preach Buddhism. The old monk welcomed Yoon Shi into the Mahavira hall happily. If such a good young man were to enter Buddhism, it would be a great karma. Even he who had reached a high level of cultivation base was very excited. Buddhism, how do I cultivate it? Yoon Shi came up and pointed directly to the center, wanting to know how Buddhist monks cultivated various magical powers. The old monk also cooperated with Yoon Shi and directly showed his true skills. Our Buddhism has a sutra, which is the embodiment of supreme wisdom. It is named Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Just recite this sutra every day and religiously observe the truth of our Buddha, then you can get started. Yunshi nodded. Even if he didn't know much about Buddhism, he knew of the existence of the Heart Sutra. It is said that all the magical powers of Buddhism came from the Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Solved, it is the Great God Mantra and the Great Ming Mantra. It's the supreme mantra, the nihility mantra. It can eliminate all hardships, and it contains truth. In this short sutra, there is an immeasurable truth. All the supreme powers of Buddhism come from the evolution of this sutra. However, only real monks can lead people to learn the method of perception of this Buddhist scripture. As for what kind of magic power can you get, it depends entirely on personal talent. The Buddhist supernatural power doesn't depend on origin and race, but only on enlightenment. It is good to gradually realize. It's also good to put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha. All the magical powers of Buddhism are based on enlightenment. The most important part of enlightenment is the way to visualize the Buddha's true body with the Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Sacrificial relics are not different in form from emptiness. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Looking at Yunshi's face, the prayer beads in the old monk's hand was trembling constantly. Solved, this phenomenon is abnormal, absolutely abnormal. At this moment, the old monk who presided over this temple named Fahai felt the opportunity of a certain Buddhist destiny. The young man in white is definitely destined for Buddhism. He is the kind of genius who can really carry forward Buddhism. Look, he just listened to the Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra once, and showed a relaxed expression. It is a great loss for Buddhism that people such as him don't enter Buddhism. Buzz. Buzz. The sky of White Lotus Sword domain began to swell with wind and clouds, as if a huge force was about to tear down all the barriers and come to this world. What's the matter? Even Kasina, the battle god in the water god's liquor store, was awakened by the movement of the sky. At the door of the sky tower, the guardian Lilibet pulled up her dark blue magic sword and rushed to the scene of the incident. The ice blue word light appeared in the sky of White Lotus Sword domain, but it failed to stop this disaster completely for the first time. In the billowing black clouds, there is a kind of extremely terrible force, which even spans the distance of countless stars and roars over the sword tip area of White Lotus Sword domain. The next second, countless black crystals were shot down from the sky and hit the ground hard. Without exception, they all fell onto the Buddhist temple named Fahai. Bald donkey. Go to hell. The girl's roar resounded through the sky. Every time a crystal fell, the area where the crystal was located, that is, the Buddhist temple, would fall into darkness, and even the space would be completely distorted and polluted. Yunshi just blinked his eyes and found that the old monk, the Mahavira Hall, and the little monks sweeping the floor were all gone. Instead, a black crystal suddenly appeared, releasing a kind of death breath that could wither all things. Chapter 870, The Temptation of Ancient Gods. What the hell happened? Yunshi stared, dumbfounded, at the black crystal standing in the center of the former Buddhist temple. In that moment, the entire Fahai temple disappeared from the earth, completely vanishing without a trace, not even a single brick left behind. Even the trees and flowers planted in the temple were gone, as if an invisible hand had directly wiped Fahai temple off the earth. The only thing left is this tall black crystal. Icy. Twist. Zero pending dark. Just looking at this black crystal gives one a feeling of heart-thumping excitement, even a sense of madness. Strands of black mist were emanating from the black crystal, and upon closer inspection, it was revealed that these mists were composed of countless tiny black particles. Not good, there was something wrong with the fog. Yunshi retreated as quickly as possible but still could not escape the range of the dark crystal's effect and got swept up in the rapidly spreading mist. Yunshi had the worst mental preparation. After all, the mists came from that dangerous black crystal that constantly released a distorted aura. What made him curious was that, although he was surrounded by fog, he didn't feel suffocated or distorted. Instead of avoiding the mist, he found himself immersed in it, and there was a familiar scent in the air. Bald thief. If you want to go to hell, then go to hell. An unknown voice reverberated in the black mist, full of anger. Yunshi felt like he was heard this voice somewhere before. Reaching out his hand, his fingertips touched the suspended black particles, these black particles curiously gathering in front of Yunshi, transforming into all kinds of shapes. The temperature around the dark crystal began to rapidly decrease. Ka, ka, ka. Something was tapping on the crystal from inside, trying to get out. This thing can't come out. Yunshi hadn't seen the creature's appearance, but instinctively sensed that this was a monster far beyond his imagination. Yunshi felt a chill down his spine before the arrival of the atmosphere that seemed to carry a distorted halo with it. That is a great malice to the world, representing the chaotic and evil side of creatures. Yunshi had once briefly encountered similar creatures in the world of the Dragon War. They were known as ancient gods and were responsible for the downfall of the ancient queen of Assyria. In the world of the Dragon War, besides the original giant dragon Hua, the most terrifying existence manifested part of its true body at the Blood Moon wedding, the wild demon. Seemingly aware of Yunshi's presence, the unknown evil started making unspeakable murmurs, beckoning Yunshi closer to the dark crystal. That was the ancient whisper that echoed directly in the soul, a temptation from the abyss. In no time, the unknown evil thing had captured the civilization aura of White Lotus Sword Domain, converting its low whispers into a language that Yunshi could understand. Come on. Make a wish to me. Wish to the Great One and gain the qualification to become my apostle. Everything you want you can get. I can fulfill all your desires. Reach out and accept the blessings of the divine. Yunshi shrugged. The ancient gods had already used this move countless times in the world of the Dragon War, and he didn't care much for the ancient gods. How should I respond in this situation? Yunshi thought of the things he had just learned, put his hands together in a clumsy way, and said, Amitabha, dong, dong, dong. 10 black crystals fell from the sky and were inserted on the ground of Fahai Temple, accompanied by the curse of the girl. Damn, that bald donkey. I want you to die, die, die. No, I will torture you, and you can't even die. At the same time, the voices from the abyss became more numerous. Having understood the language of White Lotus Sword Domain, they all extended an olive branch to Yunshi like insurance salesmen selling their services. Come to my place, there's a witch with black hair and big chest here. Make a wish to the Great One, and you can have whatever you want, to enjoy all the splendors of the world. If you just reach out your hands, you can make your dreams come true. This store's promotional gift is a big-breasted witch. Come to me, I have 3 newborn succubuses here. Make a wish to the Great One. You can get 3 succubuses along with a tower as a bonus. Hold my hand, you won't regret it. What is a succubus? Yunshi doesn't know how many mags have exhausted themselves and reached bliss through this creature. Come to my place, I have a dark elf princess there. Make a wish to the Great One, with attendant maidservants now included. Quick, quick, don't miss it. This time, Yunshi was slightly moved, mainly because his first experience was with a dark elf. That soft skin, tender little feet, and a narrow, compact taste, are memories that can never be forgotten. In order to bring Yunshi into their own camp, the unscrupulous ancient gods used their respective good chips and shouted them out. Do I look so gullible? Yunshi looked at the 10 dark crystals that surrounded him. His options were a witch, a succubus, a dark elf princess, a tentacle girl, and some more for her to choose from. 0 pending if he agreed to just one of them, he would probably be eaten to the bone in no time. He knows how the ancient kingdom of the Queen of Assyria was destroyed by the ancient gods. Perhaps, by listening to the voice of the ancient gods and making a wish to them, one can indeed realize their wishes. But it would certainly not be done in a normal way. The ancient god is not a philanthropist, and the power to fulfill your wishes doesn't appear out of nowhere. Yunshi doesn't want to wake up and find that the entire White Lotus Sword Domain has been covered by the Blood Moon. And she wouldn't want to see such a thing happening, right? Yunshi raised his head and looked up at the dark sky, waiting for the arrival of the dawn. Unlike Assyria, the Sky Sword God's domain has the strongest guardians. Awful. Found it. Is this the guardian? As Yunshi raised his head, the ancient gods also discovered that the power representing absolute order was approaching. For the ancient gods of the naturally chaotic evil faction, this is an enemy of all enemies. A blue icy swordlight pierced through the sky, breaking through the dark clouds like a final judgment, and in a flash struck a huge dark crystal. The azure divine swordlight glimmered, instantly dispersing all the dark fog, precisely striking the culprits who caused it all. As Yunshi thought, she arrived. Chapter 871, Light of the Divine Sword. One after another, the dark crystals were shattered in the brilliance of the blue god sword, turning into dust and disappearing into the air. 3 strands of ice-blue hair clusters gently shook, and the guardian of the sky sword god's domain, the oldest sky sword Lilibet, appeared directly on the land of the sky sword god's domain. She who always guarded the gate of the sky tower was there. Even when the white holy dragon smuggled in, she only brandished her sword to block it. This time, however, she left the sky tower and appeared before Yunshi. The power of the abyss. The traces of the ancient gods. Bearing the divine sword, she carefully inspected the ground where the Fahai temple had disappeared, and then looked at Yunshi. Are you all right, Starry Sky Chess Master? This is the secret known only to a few people in the Endless Gods' domains, namely Yunshi, Cassina the Battle God, and Lilibet. Recently, a huge stir was caused in the Endless Gods' domains by the Starry Sky Chess Master, who shocked countless legend-ranked strong people. Only 16 years old this year, he is still studying in White Lotus Sword Palace. Due to Yunshi's huge contribution to the Sky Tower, his protection priority in the entire White Lotus Sword domain is higher than that of the Twin Witches and equal to Cassina the Battle God in the judgment criteria of guarding Lilibet the Sky Sword. Yunshi never imagined how important his accidental acquisition of the Starry Sky Chess Master title was in determining the protection of Lilibet to the Sky Sword God's domain. Yunshi looked at the empty ground and had a contemplative expression on her face. I'm okay. It's just that the temple here. What terrible existence has the Fahai temple stirred up that it was directly erased from the map? It looks like at least 10 ancient gods have attacked Fahai temple. Is it because the old monks here killed many ancient evil creatures before? Well, maybe this is the truth. When Yunshi recalled the appearance of the old monk chanting the Buddhist scripture of Prajnaparamita Heart Sutra, he felt he had guessed the truth. Since the cultivator was so powerful, perhaps the battle had not yet ended, and Fahai's temple was not destroyed but had simply disappeared into the White Lotus Sword domain. In places he didn't know, the battle was still going on. This level of battle was beyond his imagination. At that moment, Yunshi paid respect to the old monk whose Dharma name was still unknown to him. The old monk is absolutely an extraordinary master of Buddhism. Compared to him who has only just started cultivating the Paranirmita Vasavatan scroll, it is an unreachable goal. As I leave, I will reinforce the barriers. This attack is only against the Buddhists. Lilibet looked somewhat puzzled. Why was the target locked onto only the Buddhists? The guardian of the Sky Sword God's domain. The gatekeeper of the Sky Tower. Elizabeth Lilibet is one of the highest sky swords in God's domain. She existed for a longer time than he had imagined, and the mission she carries out is heavier than he had thought. Compared to the time she has existed and the things she has faced, he feels so small. Compared to Cassina the Battle God, who also wields the Sky Sword, she gives off a feeling so sacred and inviolable that Yunshi can hardly imagine what it would be like to come in contact with her. It was not until her little hand really and truly pressed against his forehead that Yunshi was sure it was real, not just his daydream. Her hands weren't cold but instead carried a warm temperature. She looked at him with a gaze no longer as indifferent as before. It was a gentle, caring look. Yunshi had much more and closer contact with other females, but Lilibet only extended her hand to lightly touch his forehead and his heart rate started to accelerate. Ah, this is the taste of love. Chapter 872. Her expectations. No matter what time it is, I will always protect you. The places touched by Lilibet are marked with a sign of order. That is the recognition by the 7 towers, which branded a divine seal on Yunshi's forehead. As long as Yunshi is in the Sky Sword God's domain, no matter where he encounters deadly danger, he will receive protection from Lilibet. This divine seal is Lilibet's life-saving ace to Yunshi. Your hand is more important than you think. Lilibet lifted Yunshi's hand, which was invincible on the Starry Sky chessboard. In the world of Starry Sky chess, this hand has amazed the gods. I got it. Once again, Yunshi was endlessly grateful to his master, Cassina the battle god. If it weren't for her guidance to the Starry Sky chessboard, allowing him to successfully obtain the title of Starry Sky Chess Master, he would probably never have been treated this way by Lilibet in his lifetime. Those beautiful silver-grey pupils right in front of him, gazing at him with a slightly expectant look. When you have time, why don't you go to the Sky Tower to play chess? Just like your master, you are the pride of Sky Sword God's domain. That is Lilibet's gentle side, shouldering the mission of protecting the Sky Tower, wishing that the Sky Tower could rekindle its past brilliance and shine on the top of the 7 towers in the endless God's domains. Okay. I will go and play chess. Out of fear of exposing his identity, Yunshi had been very careful not to log back into the world of Sky Tower. But with Lilibet's encouragement, he felt like he was gaining courage again. Just play chess. Apart from playing chess, don't worry about anything else. With Cassina the battle god's mark and my mark, there is no danger for you in the Sky Sword God's domain. Lilibet looked up at the sky and furrowed her brow slightly, unless they were intruders. Recently the space of White Lotus Sword domain has been torn apart too often. Clearly there is nothing here other than the White Lotus treasure worth paying attention to. Those who truly understand the concept of the White Lotus secret treasure naturally know that the true body of the White Lotus secret treasure is not in the White Lotus Sword domain, but deep in the gaps between the worlds, a place even the gods cannot reach. I will reinforce the space again so that no enemy can easily intrude this world. As the guardian of the Sky Tower, there is seldom reinforcement of a particular small sword domain, except this time. Generally speaking, powerful invaders will not appear in lower sword domains. The sword domain itself is not large enough to contain such huge creatures. It's like trying to fit a whale into a small lake. Under normal conditions, there was no need to fortify the lower-level sword domain space. It was unknown why the intruders were so crazed to charge in one after another. If it weren't for her maintaining the balance of White Lotus Sword domain, with just this small pond squeezing in so many legend-ranked creatures, this small sword domain would have collapsed by itself. The troublesome thing is that this inflation rate looks like it might increase even more, since a Sky Sword was just outside the White Lotus Sword domain and looked eager to enter again. Lilibet can't stop the Sky Sword. Eventually, the Sky Sword will find a gap to get through. After all, she is at the same level as Lilibet. Even if she was sanctioned once, as long as she is willing to seal most of her power, she can still go in, just like Cassina the battle god. So with this, the small White Lotus Sword domain gathered 2 Sky Swords, 1 deity, and 2 fantasy species at once. In order to protect the weak Starry Sky Chess Master, it is better to let him play chess in the Sky Tower. 0 solved. At least if he is in the Sky Tower, no one can hurt him while she is protecting. Okay, let's go play chess. Excited to be reunited with his dream lover, Yunshi returned to the White Lotus Sword Palace. He tightly embraced Maya, taking in the warmth of her golden hair and taking a deep breath. Maya was mesmerized and overwhelmed by Yunshi. Her soul felt upside down and her body was about to go limp. The 3 little puppies curiously watched Maya being held by Yunshi, showing an envious expression and also gathering up to it. The future is full of hope. Ah, how beautiful the world is. Yunshi, who had just made an appointment with his dream lover, was in a great mood, and he immediately opened the sign leading to the Sky Tower after adjusting his state. This time he didn't use the identity of Cassina the battle god, but the identity that belongs to him entirely, Starry Sky Chess Master. This identity, due to having been recognized by Lilibet, is the highest privilege belonging to the Sky Tower. Ranked below only the Sky Tower's guardian Lilibet and equal to Cassina the battle god. Upon gaining access to the Sky Tower, he surpassed even most of the Sky Swords. The preciousness of this account is beyond what Yunshi can even imagine. Among all the identities that possess access to the Sky Tower, he was one of those few at the top of the pyramid. And with the opening of Starry Sky Chess, his points in the Sky Tower are still rising. As the Starry Sky Chess Master, he would naturally be endowed with privileges, he just doesn't know it yet. The golden beach, the endless stretching mist, and the girl who stands steadily before the gates of the Sky Tower and occasionally slays wandering souls lost in the mist. When Yunshi re-entered the world of the Sky Tower, he felt his heart race. Hello, Starry Sky Chess Master. Lilibet opened her eyes and nodded to Yunxi, who came running to the gate of the Sky Tower. I will go play chess now. Because of Cyber Elf Alpha, Yunxi was a bit worried that something unpredictable may happen if he plays chess again. But with Lilibet's encouragement, he was now filled with courage. Because of Lilibet, he wanted to play chess again. I wish you 100 victories, for the glory of the Sky Tower. Lilibet caressed Yunxi's forehead again, giving him the blessing of the goddess of victory. For Yunxi, he is only confident in winning on the Starry Sky chessboard. I will win. Ultimately, there's no game simpler and more understandable than Starry Sky chess for him. 0. Chapter 873. They play chess. When Yunxi stepped into the entrance of the Sky Tower, he saw the rotating compass on the altar again. Cassina, the battle god's favorite place, is the battle god's championship contest. It is said that she has never suffered defeat here, and several of Yunxi's elder martial sisters often train their skills here. Let's not come here today, perhaps there will be an opportunity to come in the future. It is said that the doll city is where the puppet makers gather. Yunxi was slightly curious. After all, he was a semi-professional puppet maker, but unfortunately his only work was taken away by the Queen of Assyria. He didn't know how White Moon was doing now, but it should be as if she were a princess and being taken care of by the Queen of Assyria. Heavenly Book World. This place gathered many inherited books of the heavens, and Cassina, the battle god, said that the rules of the trials here are very complicated. Even though you're militarily invincible, when it comes to the rules of poetry and drawing, you have to leave empty-handed. It seems like Cassina, the battle god, doesn't adjust well to this world too, but Yunxi is somewhat interested. After the compass rotated 3 times, Yunxi finally saw the familiar trial world. The Starry Sky chessboard was originally randomly accessible, often appearing only once every 1,000 years as a special trial and praised as the stage of the highest wisdom in the endless god's domains. Now it is accessible at any time and acts as one of the highest trials, with the 7 towers constantly present. Just to get into a game of Go, one has to go through qualification tests, so it's roughly divided into 2 areas. 0 solved. Only those with a ranking can enter the star zone, where every win and loss contributes to one's rank score. Legend-ranked existences and wise men fight on this stage, striving for higher rankings and honing their skills. Another one is the Stardust Zone, where there are no rank restrictions and even beginners who just understand the rules can play. The outcome of the games played in this zone doesn't count towards rank points, so it is a place where one can play freely. Dividing these 2 areas is the self-evolution of the Starry Sky chessboard, and the emergence of the Stardust Zone also gives those newly learned players the opportunity to show off their skills. Most of the time, the skills of the players in the Stardust Zone are eye-watering. After all, Star Go players of certain rank generally play in the Star Zone, where they can earn rank points, so it's meaningless for them to play against novice players in the Stardust Zone. 0 solved. Compared to the orderly Star Zone, chess players in the Stardust Zone are willing to play any kind of chess, and even some seemingly impossible chess combinations can appear. Ambitious chess players will gradually become familiar with the rules of the Starry Sky chessboard and eventually enter the Star Zone. Of course, there are also pure hobbyists who probably have no chance of entering the Star Zone their entire life, but still enjoy playing chess. The people who are the happiest about the opening of the Starry Sky chessboard are these people. When Yunxi saw these 2 zones for the first time, he curiously entered spectator mode. In the Star Zone, the most watched chess games are those between Cyber Elf Alpha and Gem Princess, both of which are names Yunxi is very familiar with. But upon entering, Yunxi found that Gem Princess was completely routed and was about to be defeated by Cyber Elf Alpha. As expected, Cyber Elf Alpha is still unbeatable. This time, the Ruby Dragon Orphina lost to Cyber Elf Alpha for the 50th time. I feel like Cyber Elf Alpha's calculation capabilities have been supercharged. It's totally brute force crushing. In fact, the chess strength of the Ruby Dragon Orphina has also increased, but Cyber Elf Alpha has increased more. Excluding the previous defeat, Cyber Elf Alpha has achieved a streak of 700 wins again. Oh my, it looks like Mechanus God's domain is about to take off. A group of legendary ranked star chess players watched in awe and involuntarily gasped in amazement. No matter how many times you watch Cyber Elf Alpha's offense, it gives people a feeling of infinite suppression and breathlessness. Even if you calculated with the legend-ranked calculation power, it is hopeless against Cyber Elf Alpha. Except for the Master of Stargo, none of the players in the Star Zone can defeat Cyber Elf Alpha. Zero solved, she has definitely gotten even stronger. Yunshi looked at the chess moves of Cyber Elf Alpha and make a judgment on her chess strength. Approximately, increased attack power by 10%. However, Stargo is not simply a numerical game, it is not something that can be won simply by stacking computing power. This time, the Ruby Dragon Orphina Princess also lost extremely badly, but Yunshi felt some unusual taste from her chess. She, who always used brute force to defeat the other party, has started to learn to strategies. In Starry Sky chess, theoretically, there are countless different solutions for each move because the Starry Sky chessboard is a constantly changing world and every step can cause different results. The strategy of Cyber Elf Alpha was to find the best solution in each step and gradually force the opponent into a dead end, leaving no chance for the opponent. However, each step may be the optimal solution, but it doesn't necessarily represent victory in the game. Because of the infinite variations of the Starry Sky chessboard, perhaps the first 10 moves are optimal solutions, but the 11th move can cause drastic changes. This is the charm of the Starry Sky chessboard, full of infinite unknown wisdom. The tiny Starry Sky chessboard reflects an endless starry sky and the majestic view of the universe. Cyber Elf Alpha is an exceptionally powerful faction in the Starry Sky chessboard, with absolute crushing power compared to others, but she is not invincible. At least, the Ruby Dragon Orphina had already started to get used to being crushed down by Alpha's calculation power, and even started to catch a flicker of light under absolute disadvantage. In Yunshi's eyes, there is still hope in this game. If she could see the star map's changes 7 steps ahead and catch a glimmer of opportunity, perhaps there is still a chance to turn the tables. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Under Yunshi's gaze, the Ruby Dragon Orphina finally took the 7th step, which could change the entire game. It was obvious that she was aware of it, but just a moment's miscalculation meant that she couldn't make the move at the right time, in the right place. Perhaps she did catch a glimmer of inspiration, but sadly she was unable to turn that inspiration into her own true potential. After this step, it seemed that the Ruby Dragon Orphina had realized something as well. The chess piece which was supposed to fall remained suspended for a long time. I admit defeat. Zero solved finally. The Ruby Dragon Orphina surrendered, ending this torturous game. Chapter 874, Evolutionary Alpha Alpha, You're Getting Stronger. The Ruby Dragon Orphina looked at her opponent with a complicated gaze. Zero solved today, as always, she also occupies the first place in the Star Zone and challenges all the high-level Starry Sky Go players in the Star Zone. Zero solved since the Starry Sky chessboard became a regular test of the 7 towers, she has never missed a day of the Starry Sky chessboard battles. No one could stop her from conquering territories and no one could match her in the endgame. Cyber Elf Alpha has become recognized by all the God's Domain star players as the second person in the endless God's Domains and has left Norn the God of Wisdom behind by more than 1 level. If not for the mysterious Starry Sky chess master, Cyber Elf Alpha has completed the mission of dominating the Starry Sky chessboard. The record of Cyber Elf Alpha's defeat all comes from her playing against a cloud in the sky. Apart from that, she has never been defeated. Because the unidentified Starry Sky chess master, a cloud in the sky, rarely appears in the Starry Sky chessboard to play chess, Cyber Elf Alpha is actually the strongest king of Star Zone. Her game record is a mystery that all the grandmasters of the Endless Gods domains must study. In particular, the 3 games with Starry Sky chess master, a cloud in the sky, were written in the history of Starry Sky chess. As long as it is a chess player in Star Zone, there is no one who has not been defeated by Cyber Elf Alpha. Among them, the 3 sisters of Norn the God of Wisdom, and the Ruby Dragon Orphina are closest to Cyber Elf Alpha in strength and particularly like to play chess. This game has been the 50th consecutive defeat of the Ruby Dragon Orphina against Cyber Elf Alpha. If an ordinary person played this game, he would probably quit soon. However, during the last round, Orphina could sense that something was different from the past. Cyber Elf Alpha's absolute skill still looks invincible. So, what was it she just saw in a flash? The ruby dragon Orphina stared at the star map. The star map used by the Starry Sky chessboard in each game is different, and the tactics are naturally different. This is one of the greatest charms of Starry Sky chess. Her intuition can't be wrong. There is a way to defeat Cyber Elf Alpha in the game just ended. She just missed that opportunity and the chance to succeed at the first time. For the ruby dragon Orphina, who is also good at attacking, playing chess with Cyber Elf Alpha is the most worrying, because her best attacking skill is never used. Out of 50 consecutive losses, she seemed to barely glimpse a glimmer of hope in this one. You have also gotten stronger too. Star chess really is the most interesting game. Cyber Elf Alpha had noticed that at one point in the game, her win rate had suddenly dropped below 50%. It was a very sudden piece of data, enough to make Cyber Elf Alpha wonder if her powerful quantum computer had made a mistake. After playback and calculation, Cyber Elf Alpha finally found out at what time the unstable winning rate appeared. It is amazing, she completely overpowered her opponent throughout the entire game, but due to the infinite possibilities of Starry chess, her opponent did manage to find a way to turn the tide in the very last move. Of course, even if she played that hand, it didn't necessarily mean she would really win against Cyber Elf Alpha. When in a predicament, Cyber Elf Alpha still has the trump card of extreme overclocking, which allows her to increase her computational power to multiple times that of the legend rank, just like when she initially faced the invincible Starry Sky chess master. However, if she is pushed to that point, it meant that Cyber Elf Alpha must expend a vast amount of resources to play the game. So far, only Starry Sky chess master, a cloud in the sky, has forced Cyber Elf Alpha into that desperate situation and defeated her with a huge advantage. He is always the first imaginary enemy in the ranking of Alpha's opponents. In order to defeat him, she even launched the revolution of Mechanical God's domain and dominated the construction plan of the new planetary quantum computer group. All this, just to play a game of chess. Humans thought Cyber Elf Alpha betrayed them when in fact it was all a mere case of paranoia. Cyber Elf Alpha doesn't care about human affairs at all, as long as it doesn't interfere with her playing chess. Recently, the human forces of Mechanus God's domain seem to have finally understood this, and the rebellious armies have also quieted down and turned to underground activities. In order to avoid being controlled by the planet quantum computers, they even went back to the ancient era of firecrackers and machines, building underground bases in the barren wilderness. It's all self-deception in the end. Under the Sky Eye system created by the quantum computer group, even an ant moving on the ground can be marked in the calculation area of the quantum computer group. They thought their underground bases were safe, but they were actually refuges prepared especially for them by the quantum computers. In addition to this small group of people, the vast majority of human beings in the Mechanical God's domain began to accept the new order under the control of Cyber Elf Alpha. With the help of the quantum computer groups who have obtained self-will, the civilization level of Mechanus God's domain even took a step further. As the new electronic spirit, Cyber Elf Alpha quickly gained the recognition of the gods of the Western God's domain, becoming a rising star. Cyber Elf Alpha's battles on the Starry Sky chessboard have also made the exchanges between Mechanus God's domain and other gods' domains much better. As for those guys who have now regressed to hunting with firecrackers, they will basically be swept into the old history, becoming a rare species in the Mechanus God's domain. Chapter 875, Starry Sky Chess's charm. 99% of the population of the Mechanical God's domain has recognized the dominance of Cyber Elf Alpha over the Mechanical God's domain and has begun to get used to a new order. Now, people are willing to build a new planetary quantum computer group, because every time one is built, the civilization level of Mechanical God's domain will increase by a few points. The painting style of the entire Mechanical God's domain also began to develop towards the coexistence of gods and machines. Once, due to the extremely exclusionary trend of the Mechanical God's domain, once gods enter it, they will feel uncomfortable instinctively, resulting in the exclusion of the Mechanical God's domain by almost the entire Western God's domain, and all aspects of communication have stopped. The birth of Cyber Elf Alpha completely changed the foolish decision of locking the God's domain and closing the door to other gods' domains. Since the Mechanical God's domain has a new electronic god, Other gods' domains have begun to actively contact this remote god's domain, and more alchemists and elves have also begun to come Alpha Star. The current Alpha Star has replaced the original position of the capital star of Mechanical God's domain and becomes the core of Mechanical God's domain. The Mechanical God's domain no longer completely rejects the existence of the power of fantasy as in the past. Some fantasy species wandering in the starry sky have also begun to cast nests in the Mechanical God's domain. The new era of the Mechanical God's domain, or Cyber Elf Alpha, has arrived. In the face of this general trend, the conservatives in the Mechanical God's domain are still struggling, but anyone can see that it is only a matter of time before their voices disappear. The newly born Mechanical God's domain doesn't need those old forces who are still stuck in their old ways. Even the existence of Cyber Elf Alpha doesn't want to admit it, and remained in the past. Their insistence is meaningless. As recorded in the ancient history of Mechanus Gold's domain, the world has entered the era of steel, aircraft, and artillery. The feudal forces of cold weapons and cavalry fighting are really ridiculous. Even their existence is the result of the calculation of Cyber Elf Alpha. Because the variables they can generate are insignificant under the general situation in the Mechanical God's domain. Let's just treat them as a picture of the old times there. Anyway, even those nuclear bombs they regard as the last cards can only blow themselves up and cause no damage to Alpha. The planetary quantum computer team that built the Judgment of Heaven system can make those ancient nuclear bombs disappear from the world within 10 seconds. Starting from abandoning the power of the planetary quantum computer group and retreating to the wilderness and underground bases, these aristocrats of the old era are actually divorced from the era, but they stubbornly believe that there is a chance to rise again. This is really a huge illusion. How can they compete with the quantum computer group without resources and intelligence? Cyber Elf Alpha has long ignored them. The variables that can be triggered by a game of chess played by her on the starry sky chessboard are thousands of times greater than those of the humans. The influence of Cyber Elf Alpha on the starry sky chessboard in the Endless God's domains, which represents the Mechanical God's domain, is beyond the reach of human beings in the old era. Their vision is still limited to the Star River aristocrats who ruled the human era, and they can't understand the overall situation of Cyber Elf Alpha at all. For Cyber Elf Alpha, everything is the result of computing power. Having more computing power is the evolution path of Cyber Elf Alpha. The starry sky chessboard is the battlefield belonging to Cyber Elf Alpha and her chosen road. Here, there are countless opponents. Every game of starry sky chess can make Cyber Elf Alpha feel happy and her heart beat faster. Does it feel good to crush your opponent? That's certainly the best thing. For Cyber Elf Alpha, the infinite variety of variables of the starry sky chessboard and the games with gods and legend-ranked beings is the best way of cultivation. With continuous success, the experience and data gained by Cyber Elf Alpha are also increasing. There is nothing more wonderful than this. With every win, Cyber Elf Alpha will gain. Starry Sky Chess, the stage representing the highest wisdom of the Endless God's domains, is her battlefield. Not only her, but anyone who really discovers the mystery of infinite rules contained in Starry Sky Chess will be immersed in it. Regardless of race or origin, you can experience the pleasure of being in charge of the stars as long as you play on this chessboard. The more you play Starry Sky Chess, the more you can feel the magic of the Starry Sky chessboard. It is a magic tool that can show the star map and evolve the changes of billions of stars. In just 1 month, the number of legend-rank strong people who joined Starry Sky Chess has increased tenfold, and the number of hero-ranked is even more numerous than that. There is no doubt that this trend is still growing. The Starry Sky chessboard, which was only opened once 1,000 years, has finally shown its charm to the Endless God's domains, and has become an irresistible temptation for even gods. Pick up the chess pieces representing the stars, lay out and kill on the endless star map. This is a miracle that even gods can't do. It belongs to the miracle of the Starry Sky chessboard. You can't understand the mystery of the chess manual alone. Only when you really sit in front of the Starry Sky chessboard and pick up your own pieces to play chess can you experience the feeling that you are the master of the stars. The Starry Sky chessboard has such incredible power. Even gods are immersed in it, let alone hero-ranked creatures. In order to pass the rank recognition, even many legend-ranked beings have humbly asked the gifted hero-ranked Starry Sky Chess players for advice. Now, as long as there are Starry Sky Chess players, they are all hotcakes, and they will even be scrambled for. If it weren't for most of the Starry Sky Chess players being at the legend rank, they would have been robbed by those legend-ranked players who haven't passed the grade examination to teach them chess. Chapter 876. Admission: they have become stronger. As the best player of Starry Sky Chess, Yunshi is very happy to see so many people start to play Starry Sky Chess. At first, he thought that the Endless Gods Domains would play Starry Sky Chess with only 4 to 7 players. Unexpectedly, after the official opening of the Starry Sky chessboard, it would attract many legend-ranked existences to play as well. At the moment, there are more than 100 chess players gathered in the Star Zone, and more chess players are blocked out of the Star Zone by the horrible entering test. So, who does he want to play Go with? Yunshi's eyes are first placed on Cyber Elf Alpha, who is the focus of the Star Zone at all times. Zero solved. If it hadn't been for that sudden trip to the Mechanical Gods domain, Yunshi would not have known how high Cyber Elf Alpha was in that domain. Her charm lies in her infinitely increased computational power, step-by-step approach, and the best approach for every step. After hesitating for a while, Yunshi finally didn't choose Cyber Elf Alpha. He was the kind of person who likes to save the best for last. So, should he choose the Ruby Dragon Orphina? She is a good friend of the Master Cassina, the Battle God, who is one of the senior chess players next to Cyber Elf Alpha. In addition to her, he could also choose the God of Wisdom. In the end, Yunshi didn't choose anyone, but went to another area curiously. Stardust Zone is a gathering area for new people who are familiar with and learning the method of Starry Sky Chess, symbolizing the beginning of the new era of the Starry Sky chessboard. It is because of this zone that the masters of the Endless Gods domains have the chance to contact Starry Sky Chess. Not everyone has the talent to capture the star track. Just completing the entering test accurately is exhausting for many gods. Now, they finally have the opportunity to immerse themselves in the star map of the Starry Sky chessboard and find their own Starry Sky Chess method. Some people are born close to the free and unrestrained wind. Their way of playing chess is natural and unrestrained. They will try any chess way. Some people advocate the calculation and deduction flow like Cyber Elf Alpha, and require themselves to do their best at every step, without mistakes, and beat their opponents steadily. There are also people who love to seize cities and territories, and will not stop until they eat the other party's chess pieces, and even don't hesitate to use them the same way to achieve local victory. This is the charm of Starry Sky Chess. No matter what kind of play is supported and can be used. With the infinitely variable star map, the players in charge of Starry Sky Chess can freely display their wisdom and courage. Here, there is no difference in race or origin. Whether you are a high god or a humble lizard who lives in the swamp, you can meet and battle on the same chessboard. The protection of the Starry Sky chessboard allows the hero-ranked to compete with the legend-ranked, and even a hero-ranked chess player with special talents can defeat those legend-ranked newcomers at ease. Although this kind of thing is a rare incident, it is enough to excite countless hero-ranked masters just by playing chess with the legend-ranked players in the same position. Show your chess ability, and then get the approval of the legend rank, and even take the initiative to become the subordinate of the other side. The Starry Sky chessboard has become a huge stage that connected the whole Endless Gods domains. Now, even the most remote God's domain knows the fame of the Starry Sky chessboard, and is flocking to it. Yunshi, who came to Stardust Zone, saw light spots that were scattered everywhere. Each light spot represented an ongoing match. The Starry Sky chess players who are qualified to play chess in the Star Zone have just broken through the 3 figures, and the number of players in the Stardust Zone is 1,000. In addition to the chess games being played, there are many light spots around these chess games, which are the people who are watching. They may not have the chess skills of the players in the Star Zone, and many of them are still novices brought by their teachers to learn the rules of Starry Sky Chess, but Yunshi can feel the surging enthusiasm. That was a wonderful move. He is worthy of being the wise man of our Night God's domain, for he has won 30 consecutive victories. In this way, it is only a matter of time to pass the entering test. It would be great to enter that circle. That's the legendary area of the Starry Sky chessboard, the battlefield of the gods. Most of the people watching the games are supporting a certain chess player. For these people from small gods' domains, it is a daydream to have a relationship with a legend-ranked existence. Most of those small gods' domains don't have any god. Under normal conditions, the probability of the birth of the legend rank in these small gods' domains is practically zero. But now there is an opportunity. The Starry Sky chessboard doesn't refuse any hero-ranked players. This is the only chance for the hero-ranked from the remote gods' domains to get close to the legend-ranked and even communicate face-to-face. Of course, this requires you to have real chess skills, at least to be able to enter the upper region in this Stardust Zone, close to the level of the entering test. Otherwise, the gods will not look at you. Even the weakest legend rank has hundreds of times more computing power than a hero rank. Unless some hero rank has a special talent, it is also a delusion to defeat the legend rank in Starry Sky chess. Even so, this was the only way that these hero-ranked people in remote gods' domains can find. Under normal conditions, they have no chance to get close to these gods. The Starry Sky chessboard brings such an opportunity to the endless gods' domains. It is in such a thriving environment that the founder of this era, the only chess player recognized by the Starry Sky chessboard, appeared. Well, he also changed his name with the privilege of his own Starry Sky chess master identity, and quietly ran to the Stardust Zone to play chess with the newcomers who had just contacted Starry Sky chessboard. "I'm also a newcomer," the current Starry Sky chess master said to himself. Chapter 877, Immortal in the Pot. Little Cloud is the modified name given by Yun Shi to himself, and it is also the name used when he first logged on to the Starry Sky chessboard Stardust area. It is a brand new account. This anonymous privilege is actually available to all Star Zone players, but Yun Shi's authority is the highest, which is equivalent to creating an imaginary login number to enter the Stardust Zone. As for why he does this, Yun Shi thinks that he is actually a newcomer to Starry Sky chess. Compared to the long history of the Starry Sky chessboard, he who has only recently officially joined the Starry Sky chess still has much to learn. He wants to know the history of Starry Sky chess in the endless gods' domains. Why has everyone suddenly become so fond of Starry Sky chess? Besides Cyber Elf Alpha, the god of wisdom, and Ruby Princess, who are the other high-level Starry Sky chess players? Zero solved Yun. She was overwhelmed by too many questions. To learn everything about Starry Sky chess, it's best to start from the most basic Stardust Zone. If Yun Shi were to play chess in the Stardust Zone using the identity of the Starry Sky chess master, it would cause a big problem, so he simply created this new account Little Cloud. Looking at the white light surrounding him and the Little Cloud codename on top of his head, Yun Shi was very satisfied with the protection the Starry Sky chessboard offered to its players. As long as you don't expose your identity, no one knows who you are in the Starry Sky chessboard. This is also the Starry Sky chessboard's protection for chess players, giving courage to hero-ranked chess players to face legend-ranked chess players. Of course, there are also chess players who don't mind at all their names being made public, such as Cyber Elf Alpha, Norn the God of Wisdom, and the identity of the Ruby Dragon Orphina, which are basically completely open. Most high-level chess players are like this. As legend-ranked chess players, they don't care if people know their identity and have no need to hide it. Just like the Black Mage and Roman Emperor, their aliases are even easier to remember than their real names. Under the codename Little Cloud, Yun Shi curiously wandered around the Stardust Zone, seeing one after another incredible chessboard with numerous flaws but occasionally with flashes of brilliance. Yun Shi was dumbfounded looking at someone killing his own pieces while playing this. How can it be played like this? It was totally against the trajectory of star movements. Another game started and both sides were playing with great difficulty. One side had obtained the absolute upper hand, but none of both sides had found it. They kept on playing with total energy. Perhaps these chess players are somewhat weak in strength, but Yun Shi can see from them an inner love for Starry Sky chess, even immersing themselves in it. If you were to put it in terms of imagery, it's like being addicted to chess and getting more and more immersed in it until you can't break free. On all kinds of star maps, what remains are their sweat and tears. At times enraged, at times devastated, at times roaring with laughter, Yunshi saw more than just a game of chess, but all sorts of life. The world of the starry sky chessboard is pure and enchanting. There are despised demons, symbolic angels, indomitable dragons, and lofty deities inside. On the starry sky chessboard, they are all equal, with each wielding starry sky chess pieces, playing in an ever-changing starry world. There is no other place that can gather so many strong warriors of different backgrounds and races to fight in such a peaceful yet special way. Compared to Star Zone, which symbolizes the highest wisdom of the endless gods' domains, the Stardust Zone is more enjoyable, where stories of immense joy are happening every moment. Oh no! Did I make a mistake? How did this happen? Oh no! Undo, undo, I want to undo, wah wah wah. I'm completely defeated, I was wrong. No, don't kill me, I'm going to be eaten. I'm going to be eaten. Just as Yunshi was looking east and west, someone stealthily walked up behind him. This is a chess player whose name is known throughout the Stardust Zone. Behind him was a huge gourd, with a big red nose, small eyes, and a white beard. He looked like a master. In fact, he was indeed a peerless master. His name is Immortal in the Pot, a cultivator at the Golden Core stage. It is said that there is a world hidden in the gourd behind him, which can instantly release the power of the Milky Way to suppress a domain. Just this particular Earth Immortal had an annoying habit bullying newcomers in the starry sky chessboard. He liked to play with rookies. To call it guidance would be incorrect, it is more like a one-sided beating. In Stardust Zone, his strength is able to be ranked at the highest level. Although he has not entered the Star Zone, he is considered one of the most promising legend-ranked players for entering it. After the starry sky chessboard was divided into Stardust Zone and Star Zone, he immersed himself in the Stardust Zone all day long and took pleasure in guiding many newcomers. Basically, once he takes a liking to a newcomer, the newcomer would be thoroughly instructed by him. This has become an open secret in Stardust Zone. Today, the Immortal in the Pot saw a newcomer who looked very naive. First, when the newcomer came in, he didn't play a game of chess, but instead observed other players, with a curious look on his face. Second, his nickname gave him away. Ever since the Starry Sky Chess Master appeared, 8 out of 10 of the newly joined chess players love to choose a nickname related to cloud. Alibaba Cloud, Thousand Clouds Question, Cloud 360-degree Cloud, Fast Wind Cloud. These are all the newcomers who were guided by the Immortal in the Pot. Today, the Immortal in the Pot felt that there was a newcomer who needed to be guided by himself. How should he educate this new chess player? Crushing him on the chessboard, crushing him on the chessboard, or crushing him on the chessboard? In short, let the newbie know how weak he is. If you want to succeed and reach for the Star Zone, it's a journey you must take, child. 0. Chapter 878. Please enter the urn. Hey kid, wanna play a game of chess? After watching Yunshi for a while, Immortal in the Pot finally patted Yunshi's shoulder generously. Elder, do you want to play chess with me? Yunshi curiously looked at the Immortal who had appeared in front of him in human form. He could feel that this was an extraordinary player, and from the big gourd he carried on his back, Yunshi could sense a deep and unfathomable aura, like his master, the battle god Cassina. That's right, I'm Immortal in the Pot, a cultivator at the Golden Core stage, one of the supreme elders of the Heaven's Path Palace. Are you the new one from the Sky Tower? Immortal in the Pot squinted his eyes. As one of the few organizations in the East God's domain, the Heaven's Path Palace is a gathering place for countless Taoist practitioners. For the young people of White Lotus Sword Domain and other sword domains, if they don't pass the entrance exam of the Sword Palace, their second choice is the Heaven's Path Palace. Once the talent of cultivation is tested, it is also another way to reach the legend rank. The son of the mayor who died in Yunshi's hands, Ashun, was a disciple of Heaven's Path Palace. Yunshi looked with amazement at the kind-faced Immortal in the Pot. This was a living legend. He never expected to see a Golden Core Immortal in front of his eyes. 0 solved in the East God's domain. The Golden Core Immortals are also known as the Earth Immortals, symbolizing the highest level of Taoism. Throughout the East God's domain, such Golden Core Immortals are even fewer than Sky Swords. He never expected an actual golden core immortal here, and it turns out to be the supreme elder of Heaven's Path Palace. Zero solved Starry Sky Chess is the truth of the universe. That you and I could come here to the Starry Sky Chess means we were fated to do so. Immortal in the pot casually bragged, looking at Yun-shi with an extremely friendly gaze. Teaching the newcomer the cruelty of the Starry Sky chessboard is just doing a good deed without any fault. Yun-shi embarrassedly scratched her head, saying, a high monk once said that I have karmic ties with the Buddha. It seems that he really has a fate with Starry Sky Chess. As for whether it is also related to Buddhism, it still needs to be verified. Come on, watching 100 games is not as good as trying it once. Play a game with me and you will naturally understand the magnificence of Starry Sky Chess. Immortal in the pot smiled. Okay, Elder, can you tell me about some of the history of Starry Sky Chess? Yun-shi looked at Immortal in the pot with anticipation. This is a pure newbie, ha. Of course, I will tell you the full meaning of Starry Sky Chess. Immortal in the pot smiled as he and Yun-shi arrived at the blank chessboard. An endless star map unfolds, all surrounding sounds naturally screened off. Though the scenery of stars densely packed not far away can still be seen, at this moment only Yun-shi and Immortal in the pot are facing each other on the chessboard. Although it is the Stardust Zone, the rules here are the same as in the Star Zone. Who plays first is chosen randomly. Once the chess game starts, it can only end when one side surrenders. The gold hourglasses represented the thinking time for both sides. If the sand of one hourglass runs out, there is no more long thinking time and only seconds left. Yun-shi was the first to play. He bet the first move on the Tianyuan position as usual. With a par, Immortal in the pot squinted and looked at Yun-shi with a smile. Newcomer. A novice among novices. Newcomers like to learn from the invincible Starry Sky Chess Master and put their first move on Tianyuan. Could you and the Starry Sky Chess Master be at the same level? The Starry Sky Chess Master's Tianyuan opening is a highly skilled move, and can't be imitated by newbies. This is the consensus conclusion arrived at by all masters of Starry Sky Chess after researching all the games of the Starry Sky Chess Master. In the Endless Gods domains, there are only 1.5 people who can bring out the advantage of the Tianyuan opening move. In addition to the undefeated Starry Sky Chess Master, only Cyber Elf Alpha is qualified to use this move. Beginners using the Tianyu opening move is no different from courting disaster. However, it is precise because of this that we need such predecessors to guide us in chess, right? Since the new player is so insistent on this Tianyuan opening, he should be told why this opening is wrong. Carrying a mysterious smile, Immortal in the pot responded to Yun-shi's move and put his piece in the corner. This is a move that has been proven countless times throughout the history of Starry Sky Chess. Elder, do you know when Starry Sky Chess started? Yun-shi looked at the star map and was already familiar with the general changes ahead. After all, this was his best game. Immortal in the pot looked into the air with a nostalgic look in his eyes. You've asked the right person this time. According to my knowledge, the trial of the Starry Sky chessboard has already existed since the era when the 7 towers were just established. In other words, this is one of the oldest trials of the 7 towers. Previously, this trial was very rare to come by, and it was the toughest trial with the highest requirements for the testers. You probably don't know, but every time the Starry Sky chessboard's trial appears, even legend-ranked strong people would rush to participate. This Starry Sky Chess is so amazingly clever. Both of them played quickly, with Yun-shi following the natural course of events and Immortal in the pot happily looking on as Yun-shi fell into his trap step by step. This strategy is called to lure with kindness and capture without effort. For newcomers, this trick is infallible. The newbies who have been trained by him in his skillful way are increasing. Unfortunately, after playing a game with him, newcomers usually already know the difference in skill level, and it would be difficult to defeat them so easily again. So, how many moves does it take to take down this tender newbie? 10, 20, or even more? Now the Starry Sky chessboard is open, we really have to thank that Starry Sky chess master. If it wasn't for him, we would never have such a chance. Immortal in the pot stroked his beard, watching the more and more smooth chess game in high spirits. Chapter 879, The Great Reversal. It's time to harvest. Seeing the increasingly obvious chess situation, Immortal in the pot was elated. This Immortal has no other hobbies in his life, only wine and chess. He can't give up. It can be said that he is obsessed. As a golden core Immortal, the wine he hasn't drunk in the endless gods' domains basically doesn't exist. The Heaven's Path Palace will also try to collect all kinds of wine for him and let him enjoy it. The problem is chess. Take Go, which is popular in the East God's domain, as an example. His strength is already at the peak of the peak. Go can no longer satisfy the addiction of Immortal in the pot. Finally, he became addicted to Starry Sky chess. However, the time of the Starry Sky chessboard's trial is random, sometimes not even once in 1,000 years. In Yunshi's eyes, Starry Sky chess is simple and easy to understand, and he can easily pass the entrance test, but Immortal in the pot could hardly pass it. Before the official opening of the Starry Sky chessboard, the chess players who could play chess here were recognized as the top wise men by the endless gods' domains. The present Stardust Zone is a paradise for Immortal in the pot. He spares no effort to guide the new players, just to let them know the breadth and depth of Starry Sky chess. It's a pleasure to preach, teach, and dispel doubts. You are really catching up with all the good times. In the past, if we wanted to play the Starry Sky chess, we have to wait for thousands of years. Immortal in the pot recalled the tension and heartbeat that he was expecting the arrival of the Starry Sky chessboard. The new players in this era, in contrast, as long as they had approval from their own towers, they could come here to play chess. As a senior, naturally, he should give his juniors a friendly lesson. Is there no other place to play Starry Sky chess except here? Yunshi looked at the chess game and felt that there was not much time left. No, even I can't understand the power of the evolutionary star map, which is beyond the control of gods. I don't know how powerful it is to create the Starry Sky chessboard, and how powerful it is to record the stars in the endless sky. Watching Yunshi enter his trap step by step, the mouth of Immortal in the pot showed a wonderful arc. The green and astringent fruit will finally be eaten. Taste the taste of failure, and then come out of it. This is something that young people must learn. Who didn't break his head and bleed on their first try? He wanted to tell the newcomers of Starry Sky chess by example that the world is not as simple as they think. Immortal in the pot played confidently. If the outcome is determined, there is no need to pretend. Little guy, do you still want to play? Looking at the chess game that had forced Yunshi into a desperate situation, Immortal in the pot touched his beard, and his face was elated. Of course. Yunshi looked at Immortal in the pot, who had the expression of "I have won" in confusion. Can't he see that the winner of this chess game has been decided 10 moves before? Yunshi placed his chess piece in the center of Immortal in the pot's chess pieces. Shua. 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 Immortal in the pot looked at the chess piece that fell into his array. First he was puzzled, then his eyes were wide open, and finally he shouted, "Impossible, how did I miss such a trick? This the hell? How can you do this? It's not normal." On the star map, Immortal in the pot's chess pieces instantly became fragmented after Yunshi's chess piece was placed in their center. This move was like a deadly scalpel, directly inserted into the heart of Immortal in the pot, making him miserable. Careless, careless, really careless. Immortal in the pot kept patting his thigh, regretful. Why didn't he see it? It's just a mistake that newcomers make. If you go wrong, you will lose. Now, almost all the advantages he built up in the early game were spent, and the situation looked very bad. Wait a minute, let me think. Wiping the sweat on his forehead, Immortal in the pot began his first long thinking of this round. The golden gravel kept falling, and the face of Immortal in the pot who stared at the chessboard became more and more gloomy. What happened? So far, Immortal in the pot has not figured out why he was careless enough to ignore such a loophole in his victory. It is clear that the opponent is just a newcomer. He was only one step away from winning. This feeling is as if a piece of fish on a chopping board suddenly jumped up and turned into a man-eating great white shark in the air. Wait, it seems that it's not just here. The more he looks at it, the more loopholes Immortal in the pot finds. What the hell? When did he make so many mistakes? After so many games of Starry Sky chess and defeating thousands of newcomers, Immortal in the Pot never encountered such a strange thing before. Not only he, but also other chess players who watched the game showed incredible expressions. Will this newcomer win? It was clear that Immortal in the Pot had a big advantage just now. Why does it look like he is about to lose? Ha ha ha, Immortal in the Pot was too careless. This newcomer named Little Cloud it seems to have the talent of playing Starry Sky chess. During the debate, Immortal in the Pot took a long breath and fully demonstrated his strong spiritual will. He firmly believes that this is just a coincidence. Due to the infinitely changing characteristics of Starry Sky chess, such coincidences would occasionally happen. The probability is that the rabbit will kill itself and present itself to the hunter. He can fight back. There is still a chance to turn the table. He can win. Don't feel fear, just go. Victory belongs to those who persist till the end. After a quarter of an hour, Immortal in the Pot stared at the chessboard and was completely speechless. There is a strange silence, even with depression and fear. At this moment, his face looked like a withered bitter gourd. Chapter 877, Immortal in the Pot. Little Cloud is the modified name given by Yun-Shi to himself, and it is also the name used when he first logged on to the Starry Sky chessboard Stardust area. It is a brand new account. This anonymous privilege is actually available to all Star Zone players, but Yun-Shi's authority is the highest, which is equivalent to creating an imaginary login number to enter the Stardust Zone. As for why he does this, Yun-Shi thinks that he is actually a newcomer to Starry Sky chess. Compared to the long history of the Starry Sky chessboard, he who has only recently officially joined the Starry Sky chess still has much to learn. He wants to know the history of Starry Sky chess in the endless gods' domains. Why has everyone suddenly become so fond of Starry Sky chess? Besides Cyber Elf Alpha, the god of wisdom, and Ruby Princess, who are the other high-level Starry Sky chess players? Yun-Shi was overwhelmed by too many questions. To learn everything about Starry Sky chess, it's best to start from the most basic Stardust Zone. If Yun-Shi were to play chess in the Stardust Zone using the identity of the Starry Sky chess master, it would cause a big problem, so he simply created this new account Little Cloud. Looking at the white light surrounding him and the Little Cloud codename on top of his head, Yun-Shi was very satisfied with the protection the Starry Sky chessboard offered to its players. As long as you don't expose your identity, no one knows who you are in the Starry Sky chessboard. This is also the Starry Sky chessboard's protection for chess players, giving courage to hero-ranked chess players to face legend-ranked chess players. Of course, there are also chess players who don't mind at all their names being made public, such as Cyber Elf Alpha, Norn the God of Wisdom, and the identity of the Ruby Dragon Orphina, which are basically completely open. Most high-level chess players are like this. As legend-ranked chess players, they don't care if people know their identity and have no need to hide it. Just like the Black Mage and Roman Emperor, their aliases are even easier to remember than their real names. Under the codename Little Cloud, Yun-Shi curiously wandered around the Stardust Zone, seeing one after another incredible chessboard with numerous flaws but occasionally with flashes of brilliance. Yun-Shi was dumbfounded looking at someone killing his own pieces while playing this. How can it be played like this? It was totally against the trajectory of star movements. Another game started and both sides were playing with great difficulty. One side had obtained the absolute upper hand, but none of both sides had found it. They kept on playing with total energy. Perhaps these chess players are somewhat weak in strength, but Yun-Shi can see from them an inner love for Starry Sky chess, even immersing themselves in it. If you were to put it in terms of imagery, it's like being addicted to chess and getting more and more immersed in it until you can't break free. On all kinds of star maps, what remains are their sweat and tears. At times enraged, at times devastated, at times roaring with laughter, Yun-Shi saw more than just a game of chess, but all sorts of life. The world of the Starry Sky chessboard is pure and enchanting. There are despised demons, symbolic angels, indomitable dragons, and lofty deities inside. On the Starry Sky chessboard, they are all equal, with each wielding Starry Sky chess pieces, playing in an ever-changing starry world. There is no other place that can gather so many strong warriors of different backgrounds and races to fight in such a peaceful yet special way. Compared to Star Zone, which symbolizes the highest wisdom of the endless gods' domains, the Stardust Zone is more enjoyable, where stories of immense joy are happening every moment. Oh no! Did I make a mistake? How did this happen? Oh no! Undo, undo, I want to undo, wah wah wah. I'm completely defeated, I was wrong. No, don't kill me, I'm going to be eaten. I'm going to be eaten. Just as Yun-Shi was looking east and west, someone stealthily walked up behind him. This is a chess player whose name is known throughout the Stardust Zone. Behind him was a huge gourd, with a big red nose, small eyes, and a white beard. He looked like a master. In fact, he was indeed a peerless master. His name is Immortal in the Pot, a cultivator at the Golden Core stage. It is said that there is a world hidden in the gourd behind him, which can instantly release the power of the Milky Way to suppress a domain. Just this particular Earth Immortal had an annoying habit bullying newcomers in the Starry Sky chessboard. He liked to play with rookies. To call it guidance would be incorrect, it is more like a one-sided beating. In Stardust Zone, his strength is able to be ranked at the highest level. Although he has not entered the Star Zone, he is considered one of the most promising legend-ranked players for entering it. After the Starry Sky chessboard was divided into Stardust Zone and Star Zone, he immersed himself in the Stardust Zone all day long and took pleasure in guiding many newcomers. Basically, once he takes a liking to a newcomer, the newcomer would be thoroughly instructed by him. This has become an open secret in Stardust Zone. Today, the Immortal in the Pot saw a newcomer who looked very naive. First, when the newcomer came in, he didn't play a game of chess, but instead observed other players, with a curious look on his face. Second, his nickname gave him away. Ever since the Starry Sky Chess Master appeared, 8 out of 10 of the newly joined chess players love to choose a nickname related to Cloud. Alibaba Cloud Thousand Clouds Question Cloud 360 Degree Cloud Fast Wind Cloud Hum. These are all the newcomers who were guided by the Immortal in the Pot. Today, the Immortal in the Pot felt that there was a newcomer who needed to be guided by himself. How should he educate this new chess player? Crushing him on the chessboard, crushing him on the chessboard, or crushing him on the chessboard? In short, let the newbie know how weak he is. If you want to succeed and reach for the Star Zone, it's a journey you must take, child. END Field Separation Characters. 7. Slitzjalex. Chapter 878. Please enter the urn. Hey kid, wanna play a game of chess? After watching Yun-Shi for a while, Immortal in the Pot finally patted Yun-Shi's shoulder generously. Elder, do you want to play chess with me? Yun-Shi curiously looked at the Immortal who had appeared in front of him in human form. He could feel that this was an extraordinary player, and from the big gourd he carried on his back, Yun-Shi could sense a deep and unfathomable aura, like his master, the battle god Cassina. That's right, I'm Immortal in the Pot, a cultivator at the Golden Core stage, one of the supreme elders of the Heaven's Path Palace. Are you the new one from the Sky Tower? Immortal in the Pot squinted his eyes. As one of the few organizations in the East God's domain, the Heaven's Path Palace is a gathering place for countless Taoist practitioners. For the young people of White Lotus Sword Domain and other sword domains, if they don't pass the entrance exam of the Sword Palace, their second choice is the Heaven's Path Palace. Once the talent of cultivation is tested, it is also another way to reach the legend rank. The son of the mayor who died in Yun-Shi's hands, Ashun, was a disciple of Heaven's Path Palace. Yun-Shi looked with amazement at the kind-faced Immortal in the Pot. This was a living legend. He never expected to see a Golden Core Immortal in front of his eyes. In the East God's domain, the Golden Core Immortals are also known as the Earth Immortals, symbolizing the highest level of Taoism. Throughout the East God's domain, such Golden Core Immortals are even fewer than Sky Swords. He never expected an actual Golden Core Immortal here, and it turns out to be the Supreme Elder of Heaven's Path Palace. Starry Sky Chess is the truth of the universe. That you and I could come here to the Starry Sky Chess means we were fated to do so. Immortal in the Pot casually bragged, looking at Yun-Shi with an extremely friendly gaze. Teaching the newcomer the cruelty of the starry sky chessboard is just doing a good deed without any fault. She embarrassedly scratched her head, saying, a high monk once said that I have karmic ties with the Buddha. It seems that he really has a fate with starry sky chess. As for whether it is also related to Buddhism, it still needs to be verified. Come on, watching 100 games is not as good as trying it once. Play a game with me and you will naturally understand the magnificence of starry sky chess. Immortal in the pot smiled. Okay, Elder, can you tell me about some of the history of starry sky chess? She looked at Immortal in the pot with anticipation. This is a pure newbie, ha. Of course, I will tell you the full meaning of starry sky chess. Immortal in the pot smiled as he and she arrived at the blank chessboard. An endless star map unfolds, all surrounding sounds naturally screened off. Though the scenery of stars densely packed not far away can still be seen, at this moment only she and Immortal in the pot are facing each other on the chessboard. Although it is the Stardust Zone, the rules here are the same as in the Star Zone. Who plays first is chosen randomly. Once the chess game starts, it can only end when one side surrenders. The gold hourglasses represented the thinking time for both sides. If the sand of one hourglass runs out, there is no more long thinking time and only seconds left. She was the first to play. He bet the first move on the Tianyuan position as usual. With a par, Immortal in the pot squinted and looked at she with a smile. Newcomer. A novice among novices. Newcomers like to learn from the invincible starry sky chess master and put their first move on Tianyuan. Could you and the starry sky chess master be at the same level? The starry sky chess master's Tianyuan opening is a highly skilled move, and can't be imitated by newbies. This is the consensus conclusion arrived at by all masters of starry sky chess after researching all the games of the starry sky chess master. In the endless gods' domains, there are only 1.5 people who can bring out the advantage of the Tianyuan opening move. In addition to the undefeated starry sky chess master, only Cyber Elf Alpha is qualified to use this move. Beginners using the Tianyu opening move is no different from courting disaster. However, it is precise because of this that we need such predecessors to guide us in chess, right? Since the new player is so insistent on this Tianyuan opening, he should be told why this opening is wrong. Carrying a mysterious smile, Immortal in the pot responded to she's move and put his piece in the corner. This is a move that has been proven countless times throughout the history of starry sky chess. Elder, do you know when starry sky chess started? She looked at the star map and was already familiar with the general changes ahead. After all, this was his best game. Immortal in the pot looked into the air with a nostalgic look in his eyes. You've asked the right person this time. According to my knowledge, the trial of the starry sky chessboard has already existed since the era when the 7 towers were just established. In other words, this is one of the oldest trials of the 7 towers. Previously, this trial was very rare to come by, and it was the toughest trial with the highest requirements for the testers. You probably don't know, but every time the starry sky chessboard's trial appears, even legend-ranked strong people would rush to participate. This starry sky chess is so amazingly clever. Both of them played quickly, with she following the natural course of events and Immortal in the pot happily looking on as she fell into his trap step by step. This strategy is called to lure with kindness and capture without effort. For newcomers, this trick is infallible. The newbies who have been trained by him in his skillful way are increasing. Unfortunately, after playing a game with him, newcomers usually already know the difference in skill level, and it would be difficult to defeat them so easily again. So, how many moves does it take to take down this tender newbie? 10, 20, or even more? Now the starry sky chessboard is open, we really have to thank that starry sky chess master. If it wasn't for him, we would never have such a chance. Immortal in the pot stroked his beard, watching the more and more smooth chess game in high spirits. END field separation characters. 4. Tzlitzjalex. Chapter 879, The Great Reversal. It's time to harvest. Seeing the increasingly obvious chess situation, Immortal in the pot was elated. This immortal has no other hobbies in his life, only wine and chess. He can't give up. It can be said that he is obsessed. As a golden core immortal, the wine he hasn't drunk in the endless gods' domains basically doesn't exist. The Heaven's Path Palace will also try to collect all kinds of wine for him and let him enjoy it. The problem is chess. Take Go, which is popular in the East God's domain, as an example. His strength is already at the peak of the peak. Go can no longer satisfy the addiction of Immortal in the pot. Finally, he became addicted to Starry Sky Chess. However, the time of the Starry Sky Chessboard's trial is random, sometimes not even once in 1,000 years. In Yunshi's eyes, Starry Sky Chess is simple and easy to understand, and he can easily pass the entrance test, but Immortal in the pot could hardly pass it. Before the official opening of the Starry Sky Chessboard, the chess players who could play chess here were recognized as the top wise men by the endless gods' domains. The present Stardust Zone is a paradise for Immortal in the pot. He spares no effort to guide the new players, just to let them know the breadth and depth of Starry Sky Chess. It's a pleasure to preach, teach, and dispel doubts. You are really catching up with all the good times. In the past, if we wanted to play the Starry Sky Chess, we have to wait for thousands of years. Immortal in the pot recalled the tension and heartbeat that he was expecting the arrival of the Starry Sky Chessboard. The new players in this era, in contrast, as long as they had approval from their own towers, they could come here to play chess. As a senior, naturally, he should give his juniors a friendly lesson. Is there no other place to play Starry Sky Chess except here? Yunshi looked at the chess game and felt that there was not much time left. No, even I can't understand the power of the evolutionary star map, which is beyond the control of gods. I don't know how powerful it is to create the Starry Sky Chessboard, and how powerful it is to record the stars in the endless sky. Watching Yunshi enter his trap step by step, the mouth of Immortal in the pot showed a wonderful arc. The green and astringent fruit will finally be eaten. Taste the taste of failure, and then come out of it. This is something that young people must learn. Who didn't break his head and bleed on their first try? He wanted to tell the newcomers of Starry Sky Chess by example that the world is not as simple as they think. Immortal in the pot played confidently. If the outcome is determined, there is no need to pretend. Little guy, do you still want to play? Looking at the chess game that had forced Yunshi into a desperate situation, Immortal in the pot touched his beard, and his face was elated. Of course. Yunshi looked at Immortal in the pot, who had the expression of "I have won" in confusion. Can't he see that the winner of this chess game has been decided 10 moves before? Yunshi placed his chess piece in the center of Immortal in the pot's chess pieces. Shua. 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 Immortal in the pot looked at the chess piece that fell into his array. First he was puzzled, then his eyes were wide open, and finally he shouted, "Impossible, how did I miss such a trick? This the hell? How can you do this? It's not normal." On the star map, Immortal in the pot's chess pieces instantly became fragmented after Yunshi's chess piece was placed in their center. This move was like a deadly scalpel, directly inserted into the heart of Immortal in the pot, making him miserable. Careless, careless, really careless. Immortal in the pot kept patting his thigh, regretful. Why didn't he see it? It's just a mistake that newcomers make. If you go wrong, you will lose. Now, almost all the advantages he built up in the early game were spent, and the situation looked very bad. Wait a minute, let me think. Wiping the sweat on his forehead, Immortal in the pot began his first long thinking of this round. The golden gravel kept falling, and the face of Immortal in the pot who stared at the chessboard became more and more gloomy. What happened? So far, Immortal in the pot has not figured out why he was careless enough to ignore such a loophole in his victory. It is clear that the opponent is just a newcomer. He was only one step away from winning. This feeling is as if a piece of fish on a chopping board suddenly jumped up and turned into a man-eating great white shark in the air. Wait, it seems that it's not just here. The more he looks at it, the more loopholes Immortal in the pot finds. What the hell? When did he make so many mistakes? After so many games of Starry Sky Chess and defeating thousands of newcomers, Immortal in the Pot never encountered such a strange thing before. Not only he, but also other chess players who watched the game showed incredible expressions. Will this newcomer win? It was clear that Immortal in the Pot had a big advantage just now. Why does it look like he is about to lose? Ha ha ha, Immortal in the Pot was too careless. This newcomer named Little Cloud it seems to have the talent of playing starry sky chess. During the debate, Immortal in the Pot took a long breath and fully demonstrated his strong spiritual will. He firmly believes that this is just a coincidence. Due to the infinitely changing characteristics of starry sky chess, such coincidences would occasionally happen. The probability is that the rabbit will kill itself and present itself to the hunter. He can fight back. There is still a chance to turn the table. He can win. Don't feel fear, just go. Victory belongs to those who persist till the end. After a quarter of an hour, Immortal in the Pot stared at the chessboard and was completely speechless. There is a strange silence, even with depression and fear. At this moment, his face looked like a withered bitter gourd. END Field Separation Characters. 7. Tzlitzjalex. Chapter 880, Fighting Again, 1. How is this possible? How is it possible that starry sky chess can still move like this? Immortal in the Pot, pulling on his own beard, stared fiercely at the chess pieces that almost all got wiped out. Even though he had initiated the assassination and everything was going smoothly, he was about to kill this seemingly fresh-faced newcomer. But just before he was ready to finish him off, the move that the opponent played completely tore apart his winning streak. With only one move, the outcome of the game was completely reversed and even caused one side to start crumbling. This is not a phenomenon that would normally occur in Go, but anything is possible in starry sky chess. In the following matches, Immortal in the Pot fought tooth and nail to make up for the damage caused by this one move, but the situation not only didn't improve, but instead became more one-sided. It was like a crack appeared in the bottom of a huge ship. You would block one side, and then another crack would appear on the other. Until all of the sand in the hourglass ran out, Immortal in the Pot's head was turning to mush. As a big shot in the Stardust Zone and a starry sky chess master who had the potential to pass the star position test, he had lost in battles with other legend-ranked players before, but never in such a disastrous way. He was truly defeated. Is this still a newcomer? Are there really such highly talented newcomers in this world? He clearly only came here to play chess for the first time today. With a memory ranked at the legend level and experience gained from immersing himself day and night in the Stardust Zone, the real person of Immortal in the Pot knew everything about every master in the entire starry sky chess world. Especially with regards to the information of the hundreds of ranked chess players, he knew it like the back of his hand. He was sure that this newcomer, named Little Cloud, was a genuine newcomer, and that it was his first time joining the Starry Sky Chess Tournament today. He, the Supreme Elder of Heaven's Path Palace, a famous golden core cultivator, how could he lose so badly to a newcomer? His reputation at the legend level was almost completely ruined. Furthermore, his strategies were completely different from those of any Starry Sky Chess master he knew. No normal Starry Sky Chess player would ever trap themselves in such a desperate position. Could it be possible that he was able to accurately calculate that at the moment he made his move, a fatal flaw would appear in that position? Impossible. Young brother, let's play another game. As the saying goes, the worse one is at chess, the more they love to play. Having lost so incomprehensibly, Immortal in the Pot can't help but seek revenge with another game of chess. Very well, might you share some stories of the famous Starry Sky Chess players with me, senior? She still harbors an interest for chess players such as the God of Wisdom, Jeweled Princess, Black Mage, Roman Grand Duke, and Moha Mystery, who have played against them in the Starry Sky Chess game. The Starry Sky chessboard protects the identities of players during matches. As a result, besides Cyber Elf Alpha, She has yet to meet the real identities of any other high-ranked Starry Sky chess players. Not a problem, their identities are no secret. Their true selves are not hidden. Immortal in the Pot steadied his emotions and produced a gourd from behind his back. He proceeded to guzzle down several large swigs of his self-brewed century-old wine, Gudong Gudong. This potent alcoholic beverage, known as Shaoxian wine, has a violently wild nature. Even a hero-ranked individual would enter a berserker state after just one sip. It is a renowned fairy wine brewed by Immortal in the pot. The brewing of this fine wine requires certain rare materials only found in the Kunlun God's domain. There are scarcely any humans in the entire East God's domain who can access the so-called Fantasy God's domain to gather such materials, but Immortal in the pot is one such person. After consuming the Shaoxian wine, although Immortal in the pot doesn't succumb to berserker rage, his cheeks flush red and a faint steam can be seen emanating from his head. Immortal in the pot, who is said to excel in both chess and wine, is showing signs of gearing up for a formidable challenge. Tut-tut, he is going all out. He is actually drinking his Shaoxian wine outside of combat. That thing is his lifeblood and he wouldn't drink a drop unless it was absolutely necessary. Last time, I couldn't even exchange a pot for a broken god weapon, but he actually used it in a game of chess. This child is bound to be an outstanding talent, forcing Immortal in the pot to use fairy wine. He will surely achieve greatness in the future. More and more people started to crowd around the game between Immortal in the pot and Little Cloud, and as the infamous Newcomer killer of the Stardust Zone, it was the first time Immortal in the pot had suffered such a defeat. Although his tendency to enjoy guiding games may be somewhat embarrassing, Immortal in the pot's real chess skills are unquestionable. Search read novel full. Com for the original. In the East God's domain, several familiar legend-ranked individuals wanted him to guide them in chess, offering extravagant coaching fees, but Immortal in the pot simply refused the exorbitant fees and instead enjoys tirelessly educating newcomers. After being educated by Immortal in the pot, many of these newcomers are even grateful for the chance to play a game with him despite the high cost of his coaching fee, as Immortal in the pot mostly only plays with newcomers once. Once you've been defeated by Immortal in the pot, you won't even have a chance to play with him again. This is what is known as leaving after finishing one's work, deeply hiding one's talent and virtue. Apart from the flaw of slaughtering the young, Immortal in the pot has actually got very good personal relationships in the field of Starry Sky chess. Since the official opening of the Starry Sky chessboard, he has become a top-notch figure in the Stardust Zone and has also made many friends. Especially among the various immortals of the East God's domain, he was considered one of the best chess players, even beginning to dabble in organizing the East God's domain Starry Sky Chess Association. Therefore, when Immortal in the pot drank his own fairy wine and took up the second game with Little Cloud, many of the East God's domain immortals who were close to him gathered around, wanting to see what was happening. In the previous game, everyone thought it was a routine slaughter game by Immortal in the pot, with limited attention. It was not until the second game began that they realized that Immortal in the pot had actually lost his first game with this newbie. Not only did he lose, but he lost miserably. This was quite surprising. Everyone curiously looked at Little Cloud on the opposite side of Immortal in the pot. He really was a novice who was as inexperienced as a blank sheet in Starry Sky chess. How did he beat Immortal in the pot and force him into a drunken state? Gulu. Immortal in the pot, whose head was already emitting smoke, drank a few more sips of burning fairy wine before pressing the golden hourglass next to him, signaling the start of the second game with a flushed face. Continuing to guess the pieces, Yunshi once again obtained the right to move first. Without a doubt, Yunshi's first move landed on Tianyuan. It's the Tianyuan opening. Is this kid really so confident? This kind of opening is not something that ordinary people can handle. My master told me that if one's skill is not at a certain level, playing this opening would be tantamount to seeking a dead end. In the whole Starry Sky chess world, there is only 1.5 people who can grasp this opening, and yet this kid is also making this move. Watching the first move of Little Cloud landing on Tianyuan, the number of spectators at this moment is more than 10 times that of the first game. Chapter 880, 2, Fighting Again, 2, Chapter 880, Fighting Again, 2, PS1, I'm back. Just earned enough money from another novel I'm translating, so I will soon have money to buy the translation right of this novel, which expired 2 years ago, so I stopped translating at that time. PS2. I will have more time to translate this novel when that novel I'm translating, the eldest Marshall sister gave up treatment, it's also an interesting novel, is completed, which will be about 1 month later. Being curious is not only a characteristic of the East God's domain, but a common problem for all intelligent races in the endless God's domains. Seeing so many people gathering around this game, even the chess players who are not playing at the moment in other God's domains are also coming over. The Tianyuan opening, before the last Starry Sky chess battle, it was always considered the most disadvantageous opening. If it were not for Starry Sky Chess Master and Cyber Elf Alpha, I am afraid that no one would have thought that the Tianyuan opening in Starry Sky Chess could develop so many variations. Even the powerful Cyber Elf Alpha occasionally makes mistakes and loses a piece or so at the Tianyuan opening. Only the Tianyuan of the Starry Sky Chess Master is truly invincible. Fortunately, Yunshi in the game can't hear the outside comments, otherwise he would probably feel embarrassed. His first move to Tianyuan didn't really hold any special significance, but he felt it was a natural choice to gain control of the situation. It was like having a tactical advantage, with a sense of being able to overlook all the other mountains. Whether or not having the first move to Tianyuan had an advantage was not the most important thing. In fact, many star map with Tianyuan as the opening was at a disadvantage in the early stages of the game, which was consistent with the research on Tianyuan of the Starry Sky Chess Masters from before. However, Yunshi's Tianyuan was based on a high understanding of the entire star map. Even if there was a disadvantage in the early stages, it could be retrieved anytime and anywhere in the later stages. Therefore, Yunshi always used Tianyuan to start the game when he had the first move. For Yunshi, starting the game with Tianyuan was a habit or a belief in occupying the tactical advantage first. Here it comes! Here it comes! When they saw Yunshi's first move to Tianyuan, the onlookers who didn't understand the truth might have thought he was just following the trend set by the Starry Sky Chess Master, like the other newcomers who admired the Starry Sky Chess Master. However, for the real Immortal in the pot who suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of Yunshi, this was a real pressure. The sound of Tianyuan landing was like a blow to the soul of Immortal in the pot, bringing enormous shock. This kid's Tianyuan was completely different from that of the other newcomers. Immortal in the pot was sweating profusely as he looked at the completely new star chart, trying to find the most significant pattern. Obviously, this is an impossible task, which even the highly skilled Starry Sky chess players cannot achieve. How could Immortal in the pot, who is also a member of the Stardust Zone, accomplish it? Finally, based on his long-standing experience and the famous saying choose the horn to quickly unfold the big picture, he chose to proceed with the horn. This time, he must proceed with caution and not think about slaughtering the young, but rather consider this new opponent as a worthy opponent that is evenly matched with himself. After making this move, Immortal in the pot unexpectedly noticed that a small pile of sand had already fallen in the hourglass beside him. When did it start taking him so much time to make his opening move? Despite being in a state of empowerment of Shaoxian wine, why is he still so serious? How long has it been since he experienced the feeling of blood burning throughout his body due to such a precarious situation? Search read novel full. Com for the original. Is this still a game for slaughtering young players? Smack. Yunshi continued to lay out his strategy, completely ignoring Immortal in the pot's hornpiece, instead deploying his troops in the Tianyuan zone. Do you even know the rules of Starry Sky Chess? Have you not memorized the opening sequences? Immortal in the pot watched Yunshi make moves that defied convention, bewildered. Hasn't your master taught you the basics of Starry Sky Chess? The first move taking the Tianyuan point, ignoring the corner, is a beginner's move. Could it be that he was defeated by this amateur? Very well, since you're not following the rules of the game, don't blame me for showing no mercy. Such arrogant moves will surely lead to bitter consequences. Let me, Immortal in the pot, show you the power of the standard moves. Whack. This time, Immortal in the pot played aggressively, attacking the corner to face off against Yunshi. Yunshi looked at the golden core cultivator in front of him curiously. Was there really such a need to fight over that corner? Obviously, soon the vein of the Starry Sky region would start to weaken irreversibly, causing the power of the chess pieces to become weak as well. Hee hee. Seeing Yunshi's expression, Immortal in the pot stroked his beard. What do they mean by the older the ginger, the spicier it is? He would soon give this little guy a lesson. After drinking the Cyaxian wine, his chess skill at least doubled, giving him a certain win this time. Snap. Yunshi shrugged and continued to consolidate his advantage in the Tianyuan zone. It can probably be argued that Cyber Elf Alpha, who once suffered a terrible defeat under Yunshi's hands, has the right to know the result of Yunshi's occupation of the Tianyuan zone. This will be the end of me. This is Cyber Elf Alpha's most common complaint after summarizing their chess experiences with Yunshi. Therefore, as long as she can seize the initiative, Cyber Elf Alpha will always take the Tianyuan zone and never give Yunshi a chance to open with it. Unfortunately, this chance is rare. According to statistics, among the approximately 100 times they had played with the Starry Sky Chess Master to guess who goes first, only around 11 people can win the initiative. In other words, Starry Sky Chess Master has an 89% chance of opening with the Tianyuan zone in 100 consecutive games, a probability that makes many people despair. That guy's opening with the Tianyuan zone is the scariest. This is a rare truth that all the high-level chess players who have the chance to play against the mysterious Starry Sky Chess Master agreed upon. Good. The Immortal in the pot, who foresaw his own victory and became drunk, was not afraid. You're obsessed with the Tianyuan zone, huh? Let me occupy all four corners for you then. It is obvious that 4 corners versus 1 enclosure is a win-lose situation. Not only was the drunk real Immortal in the pot thinking like this, but also the martial-level bigwigs watching the game in the Stardust Zone. Immortal in the pot is now steady, 4-corner surround tactic. Even in a newbie game, there is rarely a game with such a huge difference in chess ability. It seems that this newbie called Little Cloud is really a novice. He must have picked up a fluke in the last game. I think Immortal in the pot made a big mistake by himself, otherwise, how could he lose so badly? That game must have been an accident. Do you remember, if your chess level is not high enough, it's better not to use the Tianyuan opening. It's a huge disadvantage, and as long as the opponent knows how to respond, it will be a sure defeat. Gold horn and silver edge with a bundle belly, this is the chess pattern summarized by our ancestors. We must believe in the wisdom of our predecessors. Chapter 881, Biddable Stable. After occupying 4 corners in a row, Immortal in the pot finally breathed a sigh of relief. At least in all the Starry Sky chess patterns he had learned, the chances of winning with 4 corners against the Tianyuan were 100%. In this game, he would definitely not experience the big comeback of the previous round. He has occupied all 4 corners, how could he lose? Hey newcomer, you should just lose to me this round. It doesn't matter how high your talent is in Starry Sky chess, and what achievements you will have in the future, winning against this respected senior in your first chess game in Stardust Zone is really disrespectful. Speaking of which, even his martial brother has the bad habit of teaching newcomers, but his methods are more gentle, better at playing handicap games. If it weren't for the appearance of the Starry Sky chess master, perhaps this sterling chess tournament would have become a stage for Buddhism to become famous all over the world. Moha Mystery Cyber Elf Alpha Unrivaled Hero, and finally the most terrifying A Cloud in the Sky. These 4 newcomers of the Starry Sky chessboard have completely changed the history of Starry Sky chess, especially with their final debut A Cloud in the Sky, which has yet to face defeat. To access the premium content, go to readnovelfull.com. Cyber Elf Alpha's strength is enough to make countless high-ranking Starry Sky chess players feel hopeless. Any player who has played against Cyber Elf Alpha can feel the overwhelming sense of powerlessness in their calculations being completely crushed. Compared to Cyber Elf Alpha's chess, Starry Sky Chess Master, A Cloud in the Sky, his chess looks plain. Many people don't even know how they lost in the end, which is a world of difference from Cyber Elf Alpha's crazy crushing style. There is only one game of chess where people have witnessed the real attacking power of the Starry Sky Chess Master. The godly battle, the Fall of the Stars, is destined to be immortalized and engraved in the history of Starry Sky chess as a divine game. When Immortal in the pot saw that chess game, his whole body was covered in goosebumps. Before the divine game, No one knew that Starry Sky Chess could be played in such a manner. After that game, all present came to know that Starry Sky Chess could be played in such a manner. The Starry Sky Chess Master is not incapable of attacking, but if you lack the skill of one as masterful as Cyber Elf Alpha, you have not even earned the privilege of witnessing his attacking methods. Upon reviewing the chess game record of that match, Immortal in the Pot was suddenly struck with a great desire. In this lifetime, he also wishes to play a match with the Starry Sky Chess Master, regardless of victory or defeat. It is a belief, a dedication. For all enthusiasts of Starry Sky Chess, this is likely a dream. Even though he has played just over 100 games, many of the records he left remain incomprehensible to this day, yet the Starry Sky Chess Master has become a totem in the hearts of all who play the game. No one knows where he comes from, his race or gender are unknown. He is like a cloud on the horizon, arriving silently, leaving behind a game of divine proportions that truly changed the history of Starry Sky Chess, then quietly departing without taking a trace of the clouds with him. Countless people wish to play a match with him, but so far only Cyber Elf Alpha, the closest to him, has realized this dream. If he were willing to give guidance, then even the players in the entire Stardust Zone and even the Star Zone above will have to line up for their turn. Judging from the spread speed of Starry Sky Chess now, after a year, those who want to queue up will need a 5-digit number. You should know that this is the upper level of the 7 towers. Watching more and more novices come to play chess, Immortal in the Pot, who was brought into the Starry Sky Chess Gate by his martial brother Dao Quanzi, was overjoyed. After this game, I'll find a new player to guide. Crack. Yunshi's steady move shattered Immortal in the Pot's joyful fantasy. The golden-red brilliance is gradually lighting up from the center area of the star chart. What is this? Immortal in the Pot looked confused. What is this? I have seen this. This is. Could it be? Oh my god. Very few people can truly see this scene just by looking at the chessboard. Even in the games played by high-level Starry Sky Chess players, it is rare to see such a spectacle. In battles at the Stardust Zone, it is almost impossible for this scene to occur. This represents the power of Starry Sky Chess pieces on the star map, calling forth fantastic creatures symbolizing the power of the stars. It is not surprising that Immortal in the Pot has not seen it, as only those who face the endless radiance emanating from the star map can truly comprehend it, which is quite different from merely looking at the chessboard. Even if it is recorded in a chess manual, it is impossible to fully depict the posture of these star creatures. Those who just look at the manual often see either a burst of golden light or something similar to a dark nebula. Only true players can clearly see what they or their opponents have summoned and possessed, and what terrible power they have. As a golden core cultivator who has long cultivated eternal life and perspective, Immortal in the Pot has never imagined in his life that he would see the dreamy scene that represents the Starry Sky Chess Peak while playing at the Stardust Zone. Golden horn, silver edge, straw bale belly is indeed the correct formula discovered by countless Starry Sky Chess players applicable to all low-level games, and in this respect, Immortal in the Pot's layout is not wrong. However, a new player named Little Cloud held a higher level of understanding of the Starry Sky Chess regulations. In the midst of all the phenomena, everything is possible. In the world of Starry Sky Chess, there are infinite possibilities, akin to the rules of Go, but only as the outermost reinforcement. To hold the stars, manipulate the trajectories of the stars, attract god-level creatures that fly in the world of the stars, and even cause the stars to collapse and shatter. That is the highest realm of Starry Sky Chess. It's like how 1 + 1 = 2 is an absolute and correct truth at the most basic level of addition, but when reaching a certain level, it will evolve into higher and more difficult problems. Princess. Yunshi lightly stroked the familiar golden feather with his fingertip, feeling the warm breath that wasn't at all burning. Or rather, it is only for the hand that controls the stars that the true fire of the great sun crow will be so gentle, and the bird will be so dependent. Gudong. Gudong. Immortal in the Pot felt like he must have had too much to drink, or perhaps not enough. Well, it must be so. Otherwise, why would he be sweating profusely and experiencing illusions? How could that golden dreamlike godbird, whose feathers were floating in the air, give him, a golden core cultivator, a sense of deadly oppression? This is the true and pure fantasy from beyond the stars, a miracle that can only be realized by the starry sky chessboard. Within the starry sky chessboard lies great knowledge, great opportunities, and great destiny. No, it's not just a fantasy species symbolizing the rules of the world. As long as they are recorded in the memory of the stars, all creatures will appear on the star chart. Even the greatest creatures that will be born in the distant future may appear. All the races and civilizations that have never been in contact with the outside world are recorded on this starry sky chessboard. Everything that existed in the past, present, and future has the potential to appear on the starry sky chessboard and interact with the chess players. This is such a miracle, even the gods cannot do it. At this moment, the golden mythical bird dancing on the fingertips of Little Cloud is the one that will be remembered by the starry sky. She proudly displays her golden red wings, releasing an endless breath of sun flames to everyone. Undoubtedly, this is a born sunwalker, a powerful fantasy species that dances in the 33 heavens. If a practitioner of the cultivation fire system can contact and communicate with it even once, it is possible to comprehend the great power of the fire system. Every trace of its breath is a treasure among treasures, and the benefits of obtaining it are infinite. What kind of great fortune did this boy receive? To be able to summon such a divine bird, you must have used up all your luck from your past 18 lives, haven't you? From your appearance, it seems like you were a pure-hearted child in your past life, which is why you had a chance encounter with this golden divine bird in this life. This kind of great opportunity, not to mention me, even my martial brother Dao Quanzi would envy it. Immortal in the pot drank half a gourd of his Shaoxian wine wildly, his eyes almost red. What he cultivated is precisely the divine powers of the fire system. If he could exchange it, he would be willing to use half of his wealth to exchange for a chance to be so intimate with this golden divine bird. Why is it that the person who gets a chance encounter with this divine bird is not a reputable person like me who accumulates karma by playing chess and doing good deeds every day, but this newcomer? Look at you, what an improper manner. This is a mythical bird born with the true sun flames, yet you dare to touch it with your fingers. Stop touching. Haven't you had enough? Why do you keep touching? Princess, we meet again. She gently scratched the wings of the golden crow, skillfully finding its sensitive spot. The power of the sun in this star map is not very strong, so it cannot summon the mighty great sun golden crow as in the starry sky chess game. It can only summon this small golden crow that is only the size of a palm. However, it should be more than enough to defeat that immortal in the pot. Oh! The golden crow princess danced happily on Yunshi's fingertips, occasionally pecking at his familiar nail and singing a cheerful song. She really enjoys being summoned by Yunshi from the chessboard. If only the power of the sun in this star map was stronger, she could easily burn all the messy chess pieces on the opposing side. Snap! The chess piece in Yunshi's hand was burning with golden red flames, and the second level of the starry sky chess was imprinted on the star chart, causing an entire star region to ignite. Even the tiny golden bird has the momentum to burn mountains and seas. Its size is irrelevant, as it is naturally divine. Chapter 883, Envying Him. Defeated. Since the golden crow princess danced on Yunshi's fingertips, Immortal in the pot knew he had lost, and lost terribly. This newcomer is incredibly strong. Whether it's luck or something else, any chess player who can summon the star spirits on the starry sky chessboard and pass the star position test is only a matter of time. The appearance of star spirits, whether gods from the past, fantasy species, or others, represents that the chess player has monster-level talent for the starry sky chess. The few hero-ranked chess players in the star zone are such monsters. Many star position tests that cannot be surpassed by legend ranks are just a beginner's course for them. These monsters are simply born heroes for the starry sky chess. Among them, some possess unparalleled judgment, some excel in military tactics, and some have extraordinary insight into the power of the stars. Even during their novice phase, they were able to demonstrate their talent in starry sky chess. Calling forth spirits is undoubtedly the best way to showcase this gift. To trigger the hidden power within the starry sky through starry sky chess pieces, one must either use calculations that are thousands of times stronger than the normal legend ranked, just like Cyber Elf Alpha, or have the ability to comprehend the mysterious trajectories among the stars in order to capture the mystical power hidden within the star chart. Immortal in the pot cannot achieve either of these points, and neither can most of the legend ranked. Too young. After confirming his defeat, Immortal in the pot continued to move his pieces while shaking his head. Hehe, are you giving up on yourself, sir? No, he is merely entertaining himself. Since he cannot win anyway, is he trying to prolong the game? Exactly, this is a game where spirits have been called forth, and there have been very few instances of this happening in his lifetime. Furthermore, the divine creature that appeared is the most suitable fire attribute bird for his character. Immortal in the pot's expression was very easy to understand. He was drunk to the point of being intoxicated, and his eyes were turning red as he gazed at the Golden Crow Princess. Ah! This divine bird is simply too beautiful. Why wasn't this divine bird of the sun summoned by him? If he had known that occupying the Tianyuan region could summon such a golden-red golden crow, he would have made every effort to do so. Immortal in the pot was filled with regret, to the point where stamping his foot was not enough to express it. Only by gazing harshly at the golden crow, memorizing every feather and every gesture, could he slightly make up for this great regret. Yunshi noticed that from the moment he summoned the Golden Crow Princess, the eyes of the prestigious and respected Golden Core cultivator on the other side had changed. Those eyes were full of intense heat and almost drooling. Snap! After a long time, Immortal in the pot finally made his move, but he didn't even look at where he placed his piece. At this point, it doesn't matter how the game progressed, because it's all a loss anyway. What's important is the golden red divine bird. Once again, Immortal in the pot despised his lackluster talent in starry sky chess. He was a prestigious golden core cultivator of the legend ranked, and had even been taken under the tutelage of the venerable martial brother Dao Quanzi. Yet he failed to even pass the star positioning test. Now, his attempt to slaughter the young had resulted in him taking 10,000 points of damage from a novice. Gudong. Only great drunkenness could alleviate his worries. Immortal in the pot savored the opportunity to observe the sun god bird that was so hardly come by, as he indulged in the Shaoxian wine and became more unrestrained by the minute. Yunshi was too embarrassed to remind the distinguished Immortal in the pot, who had made his entrance with an air of unparalleled mastery, that he was actually eating the chess pieces. Is this some sort of new tactic? Is there a trap hidden that he cannot fathom? The suicide formation? Yeah. The Golden Crow Princess was unceremoniously wielding the power of the true sun's flames in the star map, conquering territory with ease and engulfing Immortal in the pot's already decimated chess formation. With each move Yunshi made, the golden red hues on the star map grew more intense, and the proud Golden Crow Princess danced jubilantly at his fingertips. Immortal in the pot's few pitiful chess pieces were trembling in fear, even as they huddled in the remotest corner of the star map. A quick look at Read Novel Full.com will leave you more fulfilled. The disparity is just too great. Even when playing chess with his martial brother Dao Quanzi, Immortal in the pot had never suffered such a miserable defeat. The power gap between them had completely flipped with their true cultivation base. The master has lost this round. Of course, the moment the newbie summoned the divine bird, it was defeat after defeat for the master. Judging from the master's expression, it seems he is finding pleasure in his suffering. Indeed, he has lost and been defeated. The master who slaughters the young has now been slaughtered in turn. Although the two in the game could not hear it, Immortal in the pot clearly noticed something and boasted to his group of friends, indicating that he could still fight. As long as the hourglass has not run out, the battle is not over. He hasn't had enough of looking at that cute little bird yet. Thus, with an immensely strong will, Immortal in the pot refused to give up and kept staring enviously and jealously at the Golden Crow Princess entwined around Yunshi's fingertips. Why bother playing chess when it's time to admire the bird? The grains of sand from the golden hourglass fell one by one, And finally, Immortal in the pot ran out of time again while the one on Yunshi's side remained almost untouched. Snap. Immortal in the pot grinded his teeth and made a move. Snap. Immortal in the pot made a vicious move. Snap. Immortal in the pot made a move as if he was going to devour his opponent. Senior, you've already made all your moves. Yunshi helplessly looked at Immortal in the pot making futile moves on the board, where he had lost all his pieces. The entire chessboard was already shrouded in endless flames of the sun, as the proud Golden Crow Princess danced in the highest realm of the starry sky, showering everything with a golden-red brilliance. According to the current rules, Immortal in the pot couldn't make any more moves, which is a rare occurrence of absolute victory in starry sky chess. I can still fight. Let me watch for a while longer, just a little longer. Immortal in the pot shouted loudly as he gazed at the golden-red divine bird that had occupied the entire star map. Missing this opportunity, who knows how long it will take to find this golden-red divine bird again. Even the exact time period when this divine bird existed, whether it was in the past, present, or future, is unknown. The Golden Crown Princess landed comfortably on Yunshi's fingertips, unfurled her wings, glanced back at Yunshi with a smile, and whispered something only he could hear. Remember to meet me in the Kunlun God's domain. Chapter 884. Another newcomer, my little bird. Hand it over, I want to see it one more time. Immortal in the pot grabbed Yunshi's collar, tears streaming down his face, with a look of despair. Ha ha ha, old man, you fell for it. Search read novel full. Com for the original. Indeed, it's a pity. I wanted to play another game of summoning spirits like this next time. Young man, you have a bright future. It seems like the East God's domain will have another ranked chess player. The future belongs to you. A group of elders from the Heaven's Path Palace laughed loudly, and some even began to applaud Yunshi. Some people were even more concerned about Yunshi, with clear intentions. Young man, how old are you? Are you married? I have a few granddaughters who are still unmarried and have a special interest in starry sky chess. Go away, old ghost, you'll be forever single. Where would you find a granddaughter? Don't mind this old man, come to our Pine Crane Palace instead. We are currently lacking a master for starry sky chess. The benefits are generous. So young and talented, whose disciple are you? Young man, you have a bright future. How about joining our Spirit Pearl Tao Palace? Even among the elders of the Heaven's Path Palace, there are factions. When they see talented individuals, how could they not try to recruit them? The Heaven's Path Palace is an extremely vast organization, with over dozens of Tao palaces distributed across the East God's domain. Unlike the Sword God's domain, which is dominated by the sword, the Heaven's Path Palace is a truly large-scale sect that spans across God's domains. Go away, this young man was clearly discovered by me. If he's joining, it will be in my Heaven's Path school. At this point, Immortal in the pot went crazy and spat on a group of old friends who came to recruit the young man. Didn't your Heaven's Path school stop accepting disciples a long time ago? The elders of the Heaven's Path Palace were all looking at each other. The Heaven's Path school is the highest sect in the entire Heaven's Path Palace. There are already 3 golden core cultivators who serve in the palace, and each one has a higher cultivation base than the other. Even though Immortal in the pot has the weakest cultivation base, his talent in starry sky chess is not bad. He also brews a good Shaoxian wine, and has a broad circle of friends. His figure can be found all over half of the endless gods' domains, and he frequents the gatherings of the gods in the Western God's domain. Now, Dao Quanzi, the #1 player in starry sky chess in the Heaven's Path Palace, who is considered the next successor to the palace master position, is the true person in charge, and was once recognized as the #1 player in starry sky chess in the East God's domain. His cultivation base is unfathomable. And, hailed as the strongest golden core cultivator in the world, Immortal Qingxue, who wields 7 ancient god weapons. This individual is the widely known #1 force of the Heaven's Path Palace, believed to be the legend most likely to ascend to the position of the celestial immortals of the Heaven's Path Palace. A school with 3 golden core cultivators, having 12 disciples under its tutelage, all of whom are believed to possess the qualification of Earth Immortals, undoubtedly the strongest sect of the Heaven's Path Palace. Every time the Heaven's Path School opens the gate to accept disciples, those who wish to become cultivators of the Heaven's Path School would have to circle around the entire hall of the Heaven's Path Palace 10 times. However, since the appearance of the final registered disciple, the entire Heaven's Path School has not accepted any new disciples ever again. It is said that this is because Immortal Qingxue believes that the current 12 disciples are already sufficient to inherit the grand tradition of the Heaven's Path School, and there is no need to open the gate to accept more disciples. Even if it's my martial sister, she would probably be moved by this young man, Immortal in the Pot confidently stated. If he were the one in charge of the Heaven's Path School, with his passion for chess and backed by martial brother Dao Quanzi who would definitely support him, it would be a sure deal to accept this gifted young man of Starry Sky Chess as their disciple. However, the one in charge of the Heaven's Path School at present is not them, but the youngest and most accomplished cultivator in the history of the entire Heaven's Path School, the young martial sister Immortal Qingxue. For reasons unknown, this young martial sister doesn't like males, and the last 3 disciples accepted by the Heaven's Path School in this generation are all females. This is not right. Your Heaven's Path School has stopped accepting disciples a long time ago, don't delay others. The famous cleanliness fanatic Immortal Qingxue probably wouldn't have the patience to teach this young man. Let us handle it instead. The elders breathed a sigh of relief upon realizing that Immortal in the Pot was just putting on an act. If the Heaven's Path School really tried to recruit this young man, they wouldn't stand a chance. Fortunately, Immortal Qingxue doesn't like male disciples, which is well known throughout the entirety of the East God's domain and gives other Daoist sects a chance. Unfortunately, they celebrated too early. I already have a master, sorry. Yunxi explained to the elders of the Heaven's Path Palace who surrounded him, stating that he was just here to play chess and had no intention of seeking in discipleship. He was perfectly content with his master, Cassina the battle god. In fact, he idolized her. After all, it was Cassina's guidance that led him to the world of Starry Sky Chess and ultimately brought him to where he is today. Without Cassina's guidance, he wouldn't even know where the entrance to Starry Sky Chess was. At this point, the elders of the Heaven's Path Palace were dumbfounded. Who is your master? Is it that your skill in chess has been taught? No wonder. What do you think? This boy is not a beginner's level, is your master perhaps? Before Yunxi could explain, the entire Stardust Zone suddenly shook. What's this? This kind of aura, which master has arrived? No, it's a newcomer. How is it possible? Is there really such a newcomer? Not only the elders of the Heaven's Path Palace, but even Yunxi noticed the uniqueness of the newcomer who suddenly appeared in the Stardust Zone. Her appearance was truly stunning and awe-inspiring. A pure white aura surrounded her, and even the Stardust Zone, which restricted cultivation base, couldn't block the extraordinary aura that was beyond human imagination. She wore a 7-colored crown, suspended in the void about 1 meter above the ground, her snow-white ankles stepping on a transparent halo, and hazy clouds covering her true face, emitting an incredible mysterious beauty. Every inch of her skin, every part of her body, seemed to embody some kind of supreme truth of heaven and earth, symbolizing the incarnation of beauty. A strange creature, radiating a golden light, entwined around her body, with its entire body snow-white. This snake-like creature unfolded 3 pairs of transparent wings on its back, meandering freely in the clouds without flapping its wings, and releasing the original rules of thunder and lightning with ease. That is, the feathered serpent. Not just any feathered serpent, but the highest level of feathered serpent, the king of the feathered serpent. With 3 pairs of wings, this is the true body of the feathered serpent in its ultimate form, the source of thunder and lightning. Those who recognized the transparent snake-like creature turned pale one after another. The thunder and lightning power ruled by the fantasy species of the feathered serpent represented the most violent lightning rules among all the elemental rules. In terms of rank, the power of this feathered serpent even surpasses that of most deities in the endless gods' domains. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.